Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
I will twerk on her on the bed. I ain't gonna do it in the middle of the dance floor.
That's what I'm. Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
Why? My brain didn't need that. I'd already seen too many pictures of Shooty Gatwa today.
What?
Well, there's an image in my mind.
Oh, these two girls when you kiss, they're gonna be hot. Oh, yo, you know Elizabeth Hurley's gonna get butt naked in this.
Wow. Woo! There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
Great Scott. People are not going to enjoy that. They recast him. He's like 16 now, and he's got painted fingernails. And he's like, oh my God, let's cast a spell.
You got to watch it. You got to hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this video needs to go over there.
Don't say it like that.
And share the video. We got to keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
Ooh, so excited.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Drew, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. All right. Yeah, see, now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
Well, you can still have it, but still identify as a woman.
Who is that? I don't know that person anymore. I don't have to deal with them at all anymore. They're I don't even think about
That's your best friend, your future boyfriend.
Oh, God, why would you do that to me? God, I'd rather have Dermy as my boyfriend than that.
Oh, God.
He's a she. He's a she.
I'm colored. Shut up.
Yeah, you know what? This freaking existed. It exists. That exists.
You just imagined it.
I guess. Kind of hurts. I think it's physical.
Woosa. I'm gonna tell you, if I'm gonna tell you a story and the end result is gonna be me taking a dump on somebody's forehead, do you care about how we got there?
But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because you know what? Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh, God.
There's no doll left.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores. Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console. I'm going to make the chattest possible. The most masculine, big deed, bulge out to the world, shoulders, muscles, maybe not bulge out to the world. You know what I mean, though? He's going to be out there. He's going to go out to Fettis, and he's going to slay as much puss as possible.
I will make them pay for what they've done.
My name is a pimp named Drizzy, and I believe I've misplaced some merchandise at this residence. Lord Jesus and the shepherds, where is Daddy's money? I will not hesitate for one solitary second to put hands on somebody if I don't have my monies.
A platform. I am so tired of people hating on this show. Yes, it is not perfect. This show is not Lord of the Rings. It is an original story. It does not have to follow Tolkien's lore and timelines. You need to watch it as if Lord of the Rings did not exist. If you saw this show and had never heard of Lord of the Rings before, you would not be so negative.
Yes, I know there was a problem in the intro. My power has been going out all morning, and it kept interrupting the editing of which I was doing at the last minute. So there's a little gap there. I'll fix it next week. Welcome to the round table where we're professional. I know exactly what I'm doing. We don't at all make crass jokes and say rude things to each other and infer that we're gay or we're not gay and all that kind of stuff, and that we like titties. We never do that around here. I don't lean into that heavily at all. But we are definitely not me. No, I never talk about how
unless it's about Jeremy.
God damn it! I streamed with him between Mortal Country and freaking Saturday last night. I streamed with him for 8 hours almost last night.
Oof!
Not enough for you, man. It wasn't enough, huh?
All right, come on. The only good thing about Saturday is that I'm not on camera and I can do other stuff and move around. I don't have to sit there and look pretty for the audience like I do here. Hi, Jed.
Hi. Is that what I'm getting? Just hi.
All right. I'm scrambling here to put the show together while we're talking.
All right. Well, it is great to be here. I do need to make an open letter call to Elon Musk right now. Please, for the love of God, fix my fucking Twitter timeline. I do not search out Rings of Power stands. I do not interact with them. I have no cause for why my timeline is full of these weirdos shipping everything, giving me their weird fan art.
That sounds like my timeline.
Now they're shipping Gilgalad and Arondir because there's a behind-the-scenes
photo of them
standing next to each other. I didn't do this. I don't even click on the Rings of Power trending when it comes up. I've done nothing to make my timeline so rife with Rings of Power sexual stands, and I practically can't use the platform anymore. Please fix it for me, Big Daddy.
Yeah, I know. Listen. That sounds like my timeline. That's my timeline.
I've got that with the Acolyte lot because I accidentally clicked in the post. And next thing I know, it's like, what on earth is all this nonsense?
Well, welcome to my life. I troll these people, so I see this shit all the time.
I think it's actually your fault because I do interact with your normal tweets, but you interact with them so much. You're like, oh, you like Adam's tweets. You must want everything he's interacting with.
Listen, when it comes to the Rings of Power stands, it's completely random because there's only a couple who have stood out to me, but most of the time it's random, and I feel like it's an easy low-hanging fruit block, so I go for it. But the Star Wars stands, there's like a couple that I really am still going after because I need that block because we're gonna get into that a little bit later. They are still living in this weirdo world that they matter. So we'll get into that. It's part of the discussion later on. We're going to talk about ratings, this and that. Dre, you didn't break down on 95 this week, did you?
I did not. Praise be he.
Mike's a little hot.
I'm still? Hold on.
Mike's a little hot.
Hang on a second. This one's been giving me problems lately.
Yeah. It's okay. We still love you.
Oh, technology.
I know. It's going to be the end of all of us. I still don't have dark mode on StreamYard.
I got dark mode.
I mean, it's past the day where they said everybody would have it. I still don't have it. I'm never going to get it.
Okay, how about now? Do I sound semi-human?
You sound beautiful.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Sultry and beautiful.
Ooh, we take that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I've been doing. This has been a much better week than the previous one, to say the very least. Yeah, it's been a solid week. Had some fun playing some Pocket Monsters, so this has been solid. I've had fun dropping a couple of videos here and there on the channel. So yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. I can't complain. Can't complain. Won't complain. I got drugged to a outdoor museum yesterday. My wife took me to. Me and one of my homies, we were drug out to Potomac, Maryland. For those that aren't familiar with that area, that is one of the richest cities in the entire country.
Really?
So some ghetto black guy with his do-rag and his Mexican buddy and his high yellow wife went up into Potomac, Maryland. To say the least, to say that we stood out like sore thumbs, yeah, it was something to behold. And not to mention that the previous land that we went on was definitely slave land at one point. Not a great look. Not great. Not great at all. But we had a fun time, but the white folks were nice, so it was fine.
Sweet downs to that story. He just pauses for like 10 seconds after I was drugged. What to do with that? And then it's like a rich white folk area. But they were nice. What is happening?
You never know. You never
know.
Dragon Lady, do you know? How are you?
All right. Still laughing at the intro of the Rings of Power, the big arrows. So if you hear me giggling in the background, it's going to take me some time to get over that.
Yeah, that guy came into my comments on Friday morning, I think it was, and just started spurring. One of those guys that will stop at every moment and just drop a comment as he's watching and making the most absurd commentary replies. And then that was one of them where it's like, it's not Lord of the Rings. You can't do that. And it's that did it. That was
the title.
That was literally the first thing I saw that morning. And I just shared it with everybody. And I was like, wow, here we go. And then I realized I was already going to do a ratings video that day. So I was like, okay, fine. This dude's getting part of the intro because he kept spurring. I'm going to make fun of him. I hope he saw it because they got to realize I'm not going to actually seek you out. But when you come into my front yard and start throwing shit at me, I have a right to throw shit right back at you.
Yeah.
So you are fair game for me to put you on blast, to make you public. Because it's public comments. I don't hide comments. It's public. Everybody will see it. So therefore, you're fine. So it's not like what I do on Twitter where I go to troll people and I'm not actually trying to engage. No, my replies, my comment section, that's for engaging in discussion. So you come in there, I'm going to rip you apart. You're an idiot. And of course, it ended with me telling him, I'd go home, I'd please his mom, show her what a real man looks like, that kind of stuff. It's how I make them cry. They don't like it when you turn that kind of very hyper masculine sexual response on them because they go, oh yeah, they run away. We are not going to run away from the chat because we love the chat. You're here to keep me honest, keep everybody honest. Hail Legatus and Algra, my mods, here to keep the peace. Algra makes me feel good. Legatus makes me feel bad. It's a good dynamic. I get it. I understand it. I'm okay with it in the end, I guess. Going on down. Huzzah, son of Joxer. Hello, Kale. How are you? Hail, Frank Blaskowitz. And hail, Hussein. How are you? And guys, everybody's still kind of rolling in. I guess it's a lazy Sunday. It's fine. We got a couple warm-ups to get going before we get to the meat of the skit, the meat of the
Oh, give
show.
Me that meat. Give it to me raw.
Yeah, I lost my words there. Thanks for saving me. So we're gonna get to. I got a good show today because I feel as though because we talk gaming on this show a lot, we're gonna dive into PlayStation State of Play, and as usual, it was a mixed bag of either underwhelming or middling. But some of the announcements this week have started some serious conversations, some passionate gamer discussions, also leading to the fact that at the same time, Ubisoft is absent from both that and the Tokyo Game Show, which led to the delay of Shadows till February. Jed, do you feel good about that? You don't have to.
I mean, it was the opportunity for me to actually start streaming games on my channel again and breathe some life back into my channel. So there's that aspect of it that a little disappointed. I'll have to find something else. But at the same time, just gracefully being spared for another few months from an Assassin's Creed game. I'm still recovering from Mirage, so hopefully the next 6 months will be enough to get me over the final hump of that recovery process, just to do it all over again. I don't know if this is going to be worse than Mirage, but Mirage was a bad benchmark.
Well, they delayed it because of bugs.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Yeah, Ubisoft doesn't care about bugs.
Yeah, look at Outlaws.
They never have. Look at Black Flag. That's got quite a lot of bugs in there.
And then, so they delayed it to February. So it's no surprise it's Black History. But Dre, it's also being released on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, that's what we all need. Black Month and Love Day. Get out of here. Look, this is nonsense. I like when I heard that Ubisoft was delaying the game. I mean, there's only two. Let me say legitimate reasons. The bug thing is they just made that up. I think there's aspects of it in which there's going to be content tweaking, which can be done even in the end stages of beta. If there was DLCs that were connected to the game that they might make primary in order to smooth the story out, they might.
Well, they're giving a free one. They're giving a free one. They're saying everybody who pre-ordered it will get the first DLC free, which we all know. No, you just took something out that you cut and you're making it a free DLC.
Exactly. So that's the only thing I can think of legitimately that's being implemented on why they will push it back to February, which is still wild.
Yeah.
But and the second legitimate reason is because they're trying to get heat off of them.
That's gonna work.
They're trying to get
some
heat off.
space from Outlaws.
It's not gonna work. Well, they're trying to spread out the fail because now both of those are going to be on separate fiscal quarters. Because remember, if you don't understand how business economic works, October is the beginning of the fiscal year for everybody. So Outlaws is going to be on last year's fiscal quarter.
That's right.
And Shadows will be on the next one. So it's not going to be just this giant, disgusting everything that it is, which will lead, as we've been talking over and over again, to likely the end of Ubisoft as an independent company. But it's like you said, it's all fabrication what they're coming up with, because
absolutely.
People are starting to try. There's a line of discussion now trying to say, oh, they're going to reduce Yasuke's role. No,
it's too late to do that.
Oh, it's way too late for that.
Main protagonists.
Because I mean, Jed, you've played Assassin's Creed games where they intertwine two different characters, and yes, you can switch back and forth, but there are certain points where they must be the center of the story.
Yeah.
And
you can't change that this late in the game. Dre was absolutely correct using the word tweaking. I think that is the perfect word to describe what they can do here. Because, maybe there's some big references or stuff that he makes, or everyone's making fun of how much damage he does in all the trailers that they're releasing. Like the black guy comes to Japan and wrecks everything.
It's funny, isn't it?
So maybe tweak some cutscenes where he's doing stuff to that extreme, but that's the extent of it. You can't have one of your two primary protagonists cut out or minimalized with 6 months extra to change a little bit of the story.
Especially with all the marketing that they've done.
Oh yeah, it's way too late. It would be an admission of failure, and considering a lot of Ubisoft employees helped found Sweet Baby Inc., you can tell what their priorities are, and it's not to make money. So,
well, I was watching TNME this week, and Madame Savvy said that there's like over 3,000 people working on this project.
Good Lord.
Thousands of people, maybe even more. I might have misheard it. We were talking about it last night. I think I might have misheard it. But they have thousands of people working on this game.
Surely you don't need that many people working on the game, no matter how big it is.
No.
Well, Dre, what was the normal project team that you worked with in the industry?
So, if it's like if you're making a game that's standalone, like Assassin's Creed or whatever, if you have a team including quality assurance of 100 people, that would be a really good standard, because your developing team will usually be about, outside of oversight, I don't really count oversight, but if you take development team, writers, directors, producers, animators, and all the other editors plus QA, usually about 30 or 40 people, usually 100 is usually a good middle of the road. If you're doing a massive MMO, now that's a little bit different. That because now you're talking about different regions. Now you're
And
talking about different languages.
constant
new
people.
release.
People have to constantly monitor everything that's going on and that stuff.
No, that makes sense. But 100 is a lot less than I expected. I already thought 3,000 was an insane number, but now
That's way too many.
You're
But
saying
100 for, let's say, a standard AAA, outside of those that are being brought in constantly, that's being recycled by QA or by lower end development. Which, if you cycle in another maybe 50 people, if it's cause for that, but it's not a massive overhaul like that. There's a lot of people that wear a bunch of different hats when it comes to that type of stuff. So even if you roll down the credits, you will start seeing certain people that will show up multiple times. So that's usually how that works, unless, of course, you're doing it if you're combining two different teams. Like if you were working for Bethesda Studios, you're teaming with id at the same time to work on whatever game they want to make, whatever, doesn't matter. Then you're combining studio power. When you're combining studio power, now you're getting into 200, 300, 400 people. But if it's in-house studio, no, it's not a bajillion people. So if they got thousands of people working on this thing,
thousands.
I don't know what it's for.
This is why it's the most expensive game they've ever made.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot.
This is getting into Twitter territory when Elon Musk came in, when he fired 80% of the people and nothing changed. I feel like that could happen on this game, because what are all these people doing? That is just insane. 3,000 people.
It's bureaucracy.
Oh God.
This is what bureaucracy looks like. People managing people, doing nothing.
Yeah,
I guarantee there are hundreds of people that do absolutely nothing. They'll spend 10 minutes and say, "Okay, pay me. I've done something," and yet you still have a game that you have to delay for bugs and other stuff. No, as we said, they're delaying this game because they're trying to let the heat die down, because they have their pre-sale numbers. They know people aren't signing up for this. They know.
You see, they refunded the pre-sales.
They did. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they refunded anyone who bought the game early.
And how desperate do you think they are when they've also announced in this situation that they're releasing it on every possible console and system and platform day one? It's on Steam day one. It's not on.
It's been a few years since that happened, because Valhalla was the first one that they had that wasn't on Steam.
If they're spreading it out that wide, that still wouldn't account for 3,000 people. Nonetheless.
Well, but they're desperate, because remember, they wanted this whole thing to be on the Ubisoft subscription where they can charge over and over again. You're not getting that subscription if you're signing it up on Steam, if you're buying it on your console. They wanted it off their own private app.
Does that still exist? Is that
the Ubisoft app? Yep.
Yeah, that's still really.
They wanted to fund.
That's how they're doing it with Steam. So your game is on the Ubisoft platform, but it's connected to your Steam account. So that's how all the Assassin's Creed games I have, pretty much, besides Valhalla and Mirage, are that way, where they show up in Steam, but they're actually you have to download Ubisoft's app to play them and to download the games.
When I was playing Dragon Age on Steam, it would load up the EA app to run it.
Exactly. That's a pretty common thing these days, which is weird, but
it's what everybody does. I mean, that's why when we go back and talk about how everybody was upset about the whole login to Sony PSN to play your game, everybody fucking does it. The only difference was Sony didn't tell everybody they were going to make you do it, and that's why everybody and that's why all the PC people got pissed off. But if they had told them up front, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. But everybody,
you do it for everything.
Everything happens now, so that's why I just shrug, and I thought everybody was blowing that out of proportion. But everybody just. It's part of what we're going to talk about later on. People just want to be angry at Sony for reasons. They have their reasons. I admit it, but
a lot of them are not legitimate. Like the people who hate Sony because they make story games, mad that story games exist. PlayStation movie games as an insult is just basic bitch to me.
It's overreaction and misplaced anger, because Microsoft's no better. They're just as evil and despicable as Sony, but Microsoft is primarily PC, because nobody even thinks about the Xbox anymore. Let's be honest. Xbox they got one more generation, and then Sony, and then Microsoft's going to cut that off.
And what exclusives is Microsoft making?
And then that the whole exclusive thing
Hellblade,
too,
that's
I
like
don't care.
the only thing they've gotten, and that game was trash. The first one was incredible, but the second one was trash.
Yeah. So we'll get back to the game discussion later. So that's just a taste of it. We got the Ubisoft stuff out of the way. They're done. Their stock has gone to an all-time low because of this. All-time low. Under almost at $2 a share. $2.
If Shadows came out, they were dropping to $1.
Well, here's the thing. Because of its state of its stock, it is what they say in the business. It's in play. That means it is even though they are making shit right now, and they're bloated with their workforce, it is still a very tasty company to gobble up. Because if you're a bigger company, you gobble them up. You've got their infrastructure, you've got their IPs, their IP and their patents to all their mechanics they put into their IPs. So you get that. Then you just got to do like what you said with Elon. You just got to cut the fat. You got to fire Yves Guillemot, who's been there since 1988, and you got to put somebody new in there. Way too long. Yeah. And you restructure it, and then it becomes a functioning part of your company. But it's in play, and it drops under $2. Somebody's going in there.
There's going to be a hostile takeover.
Oh, definitely. Somebody's going to scoop up all that stuff, and they're going to purchase them and just absorb them. And there's going to be nothing they can do.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be an improvement, but it'll at least be entertaining.
Yeah. It'll be
nothing else. It'll be good.
Yeah. So we'll get back to video game stuff later. Let's warm up some more with a little more entertainment stuff. Let's talk entertainment first. We haven't done a box office check-in because there hasn't really been anything to check in on. But
not since Deadpool came out.
Yeah. But we must comment on the fact that the fall flops have begun. The fall flops have begun. Some of them we predicted, and some of them we didn't know because we didn't care. First of all, we spent a lot of time talking about this when it was coming out, the trailers. Transformers 1. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
They say it's hardcore. They say it's a great origin story, but then some people say it's trash and it's disrespecting G1. I, of course, have no taste for this whatsoever. I like my Transformers the way they looked in the 80s and they behaved in the 80s, F everything else after that. But it had a budget of, I think, $75 million. And this is its opening weekend.
Unless word of mouth gets a lot better, there's no way it's breaking even. Not with those numbers.
No, I mean it needs what, 200 million to break even at this point.
Yeah,
I think that would be fair
because they had a big marketing campaign for this.
Yeah, they did.
So this is a flop. And honestly, if you liked it, great. As I said, this is not the Transformers I want to see. This is not the Transformers I care about. Let it die on its vine and fall away. This is not the direction. Even though they show very G1-esque Optimus Prime and Megatron in their final forms, it's still not. Don't tell me this is how G1 came to be. Don't try to tell me that this is how it happened. I don't want to know.
Look, I was soured on this joint when it was announced. There's a couple of folks that I know personally that have gone to see it and said it was fine and it was fun, whatever. And I was like, hey, good for y'all, but I'm pretty much done with the Transformers franchise at this point, especially after, even though of course this is separate, but nonetheless, after the Transformers Beast Wars version they did a year or so ago, I almost threw up in my own hat. So I'm like, you know what, I thank God Almighty I did not spend money to see that film, because it was an abomination. And now the brand itself has now been soured, and my interest level in Transformers anything has plummeted to the ground. I just don't care anymore, unless it's like dropping new action figures that from like the Netflix run, which was really good. But other than that, I don't care anymore.
They say the current comic run is good.
The crossovers are still fine.
Yeah.
The crossovers are fine because now they're doing all types of weird stuff. Dark Horse is doing crazy stuff. They're doing Transformers and Godzilla and all. They're doing wildness.
And there's like a G.I. Joe one going on alongside it. People are enjoying those, but that's comics.
Yes.
And it's still not moving the needle.
No, no, it's not because the crossovers themselves are just plain dumb fun for people that were original fans of the comic runs. Because a lot of people don't realize that the Transformers fan base is split in three different portions. There is the people that like the films and television. They're the ones that love the toys, and then there are those that like the books. And at no point of so that's not fair. There's a very small cross pollination of those three fan bases of those. So it's kind of tough to try to sell this film when the movie going people are already done. And the comic people that were into it when it was Dark Horse or anybody else that was writing are still sticking with the writing. And the action figure people are still having fun just buying the toys.
Yeah.
It's really hard to transition for this franchise. So it's kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is.
And it makes it even more difficult when you just described the purchasing type of division. The generational division is even worse because you got the G1 people, the G2 people who we live in that era. We don't like to leave that era. I don't think about it beyond I'll go as far as Beast Wars, you know, and Beast Machines, and then I'll stop. I'll allow myself to dip into that direction, but I don't go much further there. But you got people who think Armada is good. Armada's fucking trash. I fucking hate that.
Armada was okay. Okay, this is why I'll give credit Armada. Armada might have made the greatest board game of all time. I still love
board game though. That anime though, the mini cons. Like,
yeah, the
mini cons. I hated the mini cons and making Megatron the tank and his design and I hated that, and Unicron and that I hated it all. I mean, I'm going back to the Get Ranked where we were doing some stuff and I said throw it in the void before Devil really defined what the void was, and I had a fight with Dermy over that. He's like, Armada's good. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Dermy. Armada's shit. Goes in the void. It's trash.
Armada wasn't terrible, but is it G1? No. And in my personal opinion, I think Energon was actually better than Armada. That's I
never went near any of that.
I know you didn't go any further. I understand that. But like I used to live and die by all of them. So I got to, because I used to collect the toys big time. So as the generations transitioned from the different toys, I would still buy the toys. So then I got to about Energon, and then that's where I pretty much stopped, because that's where the anime kind of stopped as well. It was like Energon, and that's when they started doing all this weird 3D nonsense.
Hate that so
garbage.
Much.
They should like 3D. Only thing I respect in 3D was Beast Wars, because Beast Wars was its own thing, and it was not trying to either reboot or replace Gen 1.
Yeah.
So Beast Wars was its own thing, deep into the future. So that was fine. I love Beast Wars. Beast Wars is one of my favorites of all time. But what they've done with it currently, all the fan bases have pretty much moonwalked away from Transformers by all means, except maybe the comic folks. I don't know if the toy lines. I'm pretty sure the toy lines are still selling, but there's no push for it anymore.
Yeah, it's all done. So that's where this is, and I think Transformers, it's as a large franchise, I think it's dead. This didn't light a fire. This didn't light a fire. You're right. This didn't light a fire under anybody.
Nope.
And packing it full of famous stars of the voices. No.
Who cares if Chris Collinsworth is Optimus Prime? Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah,
no one. Zero people.
And the people talking about the dude who's playing Megatron, I don't care about him.
He's that black guy, right?
He was in the Godzilla movies recently.
Oh, yes. The funny black guy.
Yes. Yeah, he annoys me. So, you have to watch it for his performance alone. No, I don't, and that no one else did.
Clearly,
this is not even. This is flop, and let it die. But here's the other thing that's interesting. There's been a lot of talk for years about the latest Francis Ford Coppola movie, Megalopolis, and he put a lot of money into this, and he just
the reported budget is low. It's got to be low for the time it took him to make this.
But Coppola notoriously doesn't give a shit about anything. I mean, hell, he he let his daughter be in Godfather 3, and she shouldn't have been in that movie. Should have been Winona Ryder in that movie, not her. But Megalopolis premiered.
I don't know what the heck that is.
Nobody does.
Yeah, there was virtually no marketing campaign for it. It is considered like he thought it was his magnum opus and shit like that. The only people I've talked to who've seen it or online who talk about it are just calling it pretentious, self-congratulatory, like so far up its own ass it can't be enjoyable. Even Adam Driver seems lost and confused by what's going on in the film. So I have no interest in seeing it, but $4 million at the box office domestically for Francis Ford Coppola, even in 2024, is insane. That's insane. But I think that's a failure of the marketing as much as anything else. But
I mean, I've
never heard of this.
You have to be us in our realm to even into covering entertainment to have even known. I've known of it, but I didn't care. So if I don't barely know it, if we don't really get stuff on it, how are the normies even supposed to know this?
They're not.
They're not. And this is just the beginning now of what I'm going to keep calling the fall flop. Well, there's a lot of flops for the rest of this year coming. You can see it on the sign here. You got Venom, Last Dance.
Yeah, the second one did do great.
It didn't. Yeah, but I mean, no one really wants, especially with what they look like they're going to do to the King in Black, even though I think that was a dumb character created in the first place. You've still got, I know people forget about it, you've still got the Craven movie coming out.
Oh my God, is that still happening?
Yeah,
where he gets AIDS from a lion, and that's what gives him superpowers.
And there's several other things coming out that we've all forgotten about at this point. We'll have to remember, but movies, nobody's going. Everybody's back into sports now, and everybody's watching TV, playing games. That's why talking about PlayStation State of Play is so important today, because that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's playing games, and they're watching old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They watch stuff they can before to find their entertainment. As we're going to see when we get into what are ratings now, people are not into new. Because new isn't interesting. New isn't made to entertain an audience for the most part. We're still getting is part of this remainder of agenda-driven garbage. And what's going to come after will hopefully be a return to the normal. What we're getting now is that it's agenda-driven garbage. People have checked out, and they are not even watching it on television and streaming. They aren't. Even something that everybody's claiming they like, it's not doing gangbusters. Because we got a lot of rating stuff this week. And it, of course, my favorite, we'll start with this one, is just, we're going to go through them and then we're going to break down what do ratings numbers even mean anymore? We have two major ratings systems, and I think you guys agree with me on this. You've got the traditional Nielsen's. They've adjusted themselves for the current day stuff with the, as we're going to continue to refer to, the horrible metric of million minutes viewed. It's a terrible metric.
It's insane, yeah.
It's a terrible metric, but they've adjusted because everything is streaming now. There is no television. There is no television. I mean, I'm looking at hopefully places to move in the near future, and what are the amenities you get? One of them said cable, and I said, what the fuck do I need cable for?
That's still a thing.
Yeah. What the hell do I need cable for? I've
never had cable in my life. I've never once had it.
I haven't had cable since 2016. When the free cable I was getting in that apartment, they decided to say, yeah, we're not giving it anymore. And I just went, okay, fine. Don't need it. I'll watch anything live on TV anyway. So cable's dying. It's going to be gone. Regular television will be gone within the next decade, I predict. Unfortunately, then we're left with streaming, but that's a whole different discussion. So Nielsen is the traditional standby. They're not the best, but they are the most reliable in terms of we know they're not effing with us. They're not. There's no agenda to Nielsen. Let's just say that.
They're very upfront.
Yeah. Then we have some of the newcomers, and the chief among them would be Samba. Samba will give you a legitimate reading, but it's because they focus on one specific thing. The TV, not the computer, just the plugins to the TV. So it's a very small thing, but it still is a snapshot that we can make some, at least comparisons.
Yeah.
For season.
From Samba to Samba. It's very effective when you compare Samba to Samba. You can't compare the Nielsen's to Samba in any way, shape, or form, but it has its value. Absolutely has its value.
Yeah. Because sometimes something that looks like it'll rank high on Samba, you go to Nielsen, doesn't even chart. Acolyte, we're looking at you. Yeah. Because of if people have their plugging into Disney Plus on their smart TV, then it's going to chart it. And I have an interesting story to tell you that I've been told now since last night. Couple, it's not hearsay. It's other people. What is it? When other people tell it, and then
secondhand.
Secondhand. Thank you. Secondhand. It's secondhand story, but it's of people who I hang out with, and I trust what they're seeing. They're not blowing smoke up my ass. But so you got that, and then you've got lesser ones that are they try to do, this is what it's going to look like. They're not telling you it's the actual ratings. They're just trying to give you, this is what our predictions look like from our numbers we've gathered. And then they are pretty close to what we see when the actual numbers drop. So that's what ratings looks like now.
You forgot one.
Oh,
when the studios randomly come out and give you a completely unverifiable number.
I was going that's where I was going to go next. I was saying, and then we no, it's all right. You transitioned it fine. Then you've got the studios who will give you their millions of global views with no empirical data whatsoever
and they're always unsupported by these other ones that we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the shills who will tell you Rotten Tomatoes most watched stream on thing. My favorite one is right when Acolyte got canceled. I was literally waiting because remember I told everybody we're gonna watch this week. They said though after the finale, Acolyte was the most #1 stream thing according to Rotten Tomatoes, and I said when we get the Nielsen's for that week, if it is not #1 on originals, you're liars. And guess what? It was not #1 on originals. So they will just make shit up if you are a shill to have this shit happen.
They'll make it up, or they'll latch on to the most arbitrary announcements and say this is proof that it's good. Like when Amazon Prime said, hey, for this week, the Rings of Power premiere was the most watched thing. All right, what else came out during this week? Nothing. Okay, so why does it matter that it's #1 in the world for this week when it was released?
But then they tag on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
the #1 Prime Video original on Prime for this week. That's completely worthless as a metrics. Now, if they said the biggest premiere of the year, that's at least you're starting to get some value comparing it to Reacher season 2 and a few other things. You're at least starting to get somewhere. But when it's the week of release, it's the #1 Prime Video show on Prime. That's a completely worthless thing. But the stands are saying, I bet the chuds are really churning.
We're gonna get into that.
Over this.
You have to acknowledge the wording, the very specific wording that the corporations use so that they can't get sued for disinformation and for fraud, essentially. So they can't get sued. So let's bring it up. We got this one, and this made my day because we were right when we said Rings of Power premiere would have a large ratings because they dropped 3 episodes. All right. And I just realized I don't have the other Park Place article up. Give me a second. But Jen, we said that was going to happen, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. As soon as we knew that 3 episodes were releasing with the premiere, which is 1 episode more than normal, 2 episodes is kind of the industry standard right now, we knew it would top out the Nielsen's, or at least get very close to topping out, because it's all those episodes combined. And that's what these stands don't realize is they're like, Rings of Power is #1 show on the Nielsen's for this week. Yes, technically true, but that takes in the entire show. Does that even say season 2 or just Rings of Power?
That's Rings of Power season. No, it just says Rings of Power. It says Rings of Power.
Yeah, that includes anyone who rewatched the show in the lead up. So if the stands rewatched season 1 in the couple days before, August 26th through when it came out, those are counted. The 3 episodes, it's all those minutes combined.
Wow. I didn't even consider that when I did my video on this. That is an excellent point.
Sometimes they do make the distinction. Like when Boys came out, it specifically said The Boys season 4. So that was a much more accurate metric. But this is the entire show, just like all the other ones on here.
And then here's a new twist. Last night, in DM rooms, people were saying that they have now been witnessed to Amazon Prime rolling over something else you've been watching into Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it gives you 3 seconds to click off before it switches you over to something.
Because let's see, at first I had Mr. Bug said that he came out of his room and at one point in the night, and his roommate had started watching something on Prime and then passed out. And he came out later, Prime still going, and it had rolled over to Rings of Power.
Yep, it's automatic.
And then Static said he was watching something, and before he could stop it, it rolled over to Rings of Power. And that's a view. As soon as it starts, that's a view. So 1 billion minutes viewed. They started to crow about that this week. We're 1 billion minutes viewed, global this and that. We're the greatest in the world. And then
hold on. With the 1 billion minutes viewed, let's be generous and take out season 1 entirely. Whoever watched season 1, and let's also be generous and say everyone who watched episode 1 finished to episode 3, which is absolutely empirically not true. So, what is the actual episode 1 premiere minutes watched looking like? Probably something in the range of 330 some odd million.
I did the math. If you divide it, let's say this is season 2. Let's keep it simple.
Exactly.
And say these minutes
just
are season 2.
3 episodes.
Divide it by 3, it's 338 million minutes viewed.
All right, now where does that show up? Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's bottom of the bottom 5.
It would be number 9. It would be number 9, and this is the original category, I think, is what you're looking at right now.
It's originals.
Yeah, it wouldn't show up in the overall. It would be number 9 in the top 10 originals. That is humiliating for a show of this budget to get number 9 in just the original category. That's the real number that we're looking at, or at least closer to it. It's more likely a little bit front loaded, so probably closer to 350.
We'll
I'd say,
find out.
Not everyone finished all 3.
We'll find out next week or the next time they put up the following week ratings for episode 4.
I think episode 4 is either going to be in that 9th or 10th spot, or just
it's going to cling.
Completely.
It's going to cling, and
I don't know because if the first episode is barely clinging.
Yeah, I think it'll be there. I think episode 5 is where we get into Acolyte territory where it's off. It's possibly off. I think then we get there. So
it's at least 4 or 5. It's one of those two where it's just going to disappear.
Yeah, I think 5 to the. I think we're getting an Acolyte situation. 5 through 7 don't even chart. 8 because of finale.
It'll come back up. I think,
back
for
to
a battle episode. Most likely, for 7 and 8, but it says it right there, 11 episodes, so it is counting season 1 in that. It confirms it right there.
So, but nobody, only the stands, and the stands don't amount to anything. It's the same people that watch Acolyte; they don't have numbers. So, but this is
or
what
the common sense to figure this out,
and that's what we're going to get to. We're talking about ratings, so we'll come back to why this is humiliating and why people don't understand how this shit works. A second. So now let's go forward. Agatha also premiered last week. We don't have Nielsen's for that yet, but of course, Disney wants to tell us that they had 9.3 million views. Okay?
I think this is inappropriate for any studio to say how much minutes are your show did or whatever, to say like, oh, look how great my show is. This is how many people watched it. I think that's ethically wrong. I think it's ethically wrong to just do that, because you're just pulling numbers out your butt cheeks and just throwing it on the screen and be like, hey, 9.3, it's everybody and their grandmother watched it in 7 days. It's the greatest show. I'm like, bruh, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? God, I just find that so disingenuous. It's upsetting.
Because they're running defense for their own failure. Because if you're going to say that Agatha all along got 9.3 million views in its first 7 days for 2 episodes. It was a double episode premiere. Let's just say, let's play the game that Judge just said. But
that's the thing, Adam. They're claiming it's 1. That's the thing. They're claiming it's 1 episode.
First episode. I know, but it was for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like everything about this is disingenuous.
Yeah.
How is this How
Disney,
how are you
Disney does
allowed
it
to
for
do this?
everything. They do it for everything.
Well,
And
it even says Percy Jackson got hired just in the paragraph below that, or
Yeah.
2 down. That's absolutely not true. Nobody watched Percy Jackson. It was not in the zeitgeist whatsoever. Disney Plus's numbers, they lie all the time about them. If HBO Max come out and said, hey, this show got 9 million, Last of Us, whatever, as much as I hate Last of Us, 100% believe the numbers HBO Max puts out. But whenever Disney does it, they are not based in any sort of reality. They are not verifiable. They're not supported, and they just don't make any sense worldwide. Or this is this domestic or
global?
worldwide?
No, it's global. They say
even
global.
that doesn't make
And
sense.
that makes it worse because globally they have over 150 million subscribers. And every time they do this, and the stands like to go, look at all these views. And right now, their favorite thing is, how could you cancel The Acolyte? It had more views in the first 5 days. Acolyte also premiered 2 episodes. 3 episodes. Sorry, 3 episodes.
Yeah, I thought The Acolyte did 3.
Sorry, my brain is protecting
The Acolyte was reported to have 11 million. It's first week. Is that correct?
Yeah,
If I'm
5 days. 5 days.
5 days. All right, 11 million in 5 days, and then divided by 3. Again, that's not 100% accurate because there will be more people watching the first episode than the third episode.
But it's the best we can do.
It's the best we can do. So that's really not that good.
No. And there's proportion. It has already been stated this in previous streams, so this is not an original thought by me. You must remember when you talk about these different platforms, the proportion of who are subscribed and who are watching. Amazon Prime, that number is insane because it's lumped in with if you just have
normal Prime.
So we don't really look at that. But with Disney, 150 million. Then it's been mentioned Penguin with Max with their roughly 100 million subscribers to its 5.3 million viewers on the first 4 days. It's a different thing. And then you have to remember, they also air this shit on HBO.
Which, and it opened at 5.3 on...
It was...
Yeah, they usually split the numbers. When Last of Us came out, House of the Dragon came out, those numbers were separate. The HBO Max versus the normal HBO numbers were separated. And HBO Max is still not available across the planet like Disney Plus is. Disney Plus is available in a lot more places. And there's a lot fewer subscribers. The budget was significantly lower for the Penguin. So, there is...
one episode.
One episode.
Legitimately one episode. So now we talk about, we mentioned Samba. I mean, Frank, HBO may be overrated, but they know how to make television.
Yeah, they actually have experience in this where Disney kind of is making it up as they go along.
I personally don't watch a ton of stuff on HBO. Last thing I tuned in was House of the Dragon. That's because I was asked to do that. I generally will not go back. I mean, I'll tune in to the Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah.
Either to praise it or roast it.
I'm not interested in a whole lot of what they're doing either. I despise Last of Us season 1. House of the Dragon kind of fell off for me. I never finished season 2. And Penguin, I have zero interest.
I have zero interest.
I'm glad people are enjoying it. Absolutely. If it's good, you guys
fine.
Go for it. I just don't care for the Batman universe.
Here's the difference: the people who are enjoying it are regular people.
Yeah,
and they say I love it, but they're not pestering you to go watch it. They're not. I mean, Dre, did you watch the Batman? Because I didn't.
The movie. The Batman movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I watched it. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, as someone who watched it, I don't remember. Did you like it at all? I don't remember.
No, I enjoyed it. I just thought the third act was absolutely ridiculous.
Like everybody else. Yeah.
It really fell apart for me, the third act. But I enjoyed it for the most part.
Are you at all interested in the Penguin?
I am interested in watching it. I watched the first episode when it premiered. I thought the premise was interesting. And once again, it's filled with very good actors and actresses. It's well performed. You can tell that there was a lot of effort put forth into practical sets and shooting on real locations. Like there's a lot of good stuff in it, but then there's always inklings of weird nonsense, like the new henchman is some black Mexican, and just that's an original character, so you already know it's some nonsense involved in this young man. But for the most part, I enjoyed it, and I'll be watching it tonight when it airs. I'm interested in seeing the second episode, so I think the show is actually decent. It's not knocking my socks off, and once again, I'm really sick and tired of having Batman adjacent shows with no Batman in it. That's been going on for decades now, and that's really infuriating.
That's like the general response I've heard from everybody.
Yeah.
We don't want Batman and Jason anymore. We want Batman.
I mean, like, you roll back the clock. Let's go back to Birds of Prey and then Gotham and all of Smallville and all the Arrowverse, all these Batman adjacent joints, and no Batman to be seen. And I'm just like, what? Oh, the Titans, all this crap, all these stinking shows. And then it's like, oh, but no Batman. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, just give people what they want.
I'm not personally hungry for a Batman show, but if it was on, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Because
a lot more interest in it.
Because, okay, let's see if they're going to get this right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, listen, I'd be a fool not to watch it and review it. So that'd just be dumb. But
there is another thing about the Penguin that I take issue with is the constant need to say, hey, the comic books are dumb and weird. We're going away from that. Like changing the name. Oswald Cobblepot is a stupid name. Let's make it Oz Cobb. And the Penguin sounds like a slur, so we're only going to say it a couple times in the show as a derogatory term for him. He doesn't like to be called the Penguin. Just stuff like that is just
it's very strange,
unnecessary. And one of my favorite memes from this week is, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Protein Man on it's been going around. This dude coated himself in oil and then put chocolate protein powder all over his body, and you can't see any of his features. He's just covered in it. And someone put a caption on, "This is Clayface in the Matt Reeves universe," because he can't actually do Clayface. It's just come at me, Batman. I'm Protein Man.
I like that.
So, but what we've got here is we've got a nice little display of 3 different shows, 2 of which are massively agenda driven. Rings of Power, Agatha. Then you got Penguin, which, like Dre said, may have some sprinklings, but they seem to want to make a decent show. And for people who are highly critical of everything right now to say, we like this, we're going to give it a chance, that is how it goes. People who like something will watch it. And if they like it, just to use the example of what Jed unfortunately had to experience, if you really like something, you kind of just talking about it with your own circle and your own buddies. You don't run out there and try to put on this fake display of all this stuff on X Twitter. But the stands, they will rush there for their fake shit, especially the gay shit. And they will go, look, here's my fan art. Here's my this. I'm going to put these. Let me bring it up right here. Hang on a second. Let me bring this down. Let me bring it up real quick. They will then, for no reason whatsoever, and I ask this question a lot now. Once in a while, I will simply ask this question. Why do they do this? They will simply do something like this right here and bring and take 2 random things that have nothing to do with each other and say, I think they should meet and make out actually.
Are those
real
2
fans?
dudes?
Yeah, they're both dudes.
That's Adar, and that's Thranduil from The Hobbit.
Yeah. So I guess the orcs aren't the only ones going to be calling Adar daddy. Be Legolas too.
Stop. Oh, good Lord,
stop. Oh no.
Because the guy on the right is Legolas's dad, Dre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the guy on the left is the elf who became the father of all orcs.
Who might be killed.
Okay. All right.
who might be Galadriel's husband.
What?
Don't just stop. Just don't go any farther. You'll hurt the poor man.
Don't hurt my head, Jed. Don't do that.
But here's my point in bringing this up here. It's just an example, and I got plenty more. The stands will rush forward and flood social media with shit like this to try and pretend to be fans. But real fans will just say, Penguin was great. If they like something. This was cool. They don't rush to mash shit up. They don't rush to put out gay fan art, ship fan art of their weirdness. There is a misconception of what success looks like. They will run out and say that the billion minutes viewed is success. I mean, they were running for days, the stands. Oh, look, Rings of Power premiere, billion minutes viewed. I thought they're everything. I thought nobody watched it. They think they're clever whenever they do that. I thought nobody watched it, and nobody did watch it. Because if you, even if, as you said, break it down to the simplest, divide it by 3, that's nothing in the current day rating system.
That's true.
And then, like Dre said, they're going to come out and they're going to try and they're then going to run with the numbers that the corporations give them. And then they're going to compare and contrast the different numbers, not understanding that the days don't even match up. 6 days, 5 days, 7 days, 8 days, 11 days, 30 days. I mean, we go back to Doctor Who. They said, no, you got to look at it in 30 days. Don't look at it in 7 days. Got to look at those overnights in 30 days. Then you'll understand how great Ncuti Gatwa was at Doctor Who. So that's how they play this game. You want to talk about goalpost moving? This is goalpost moving. Look at these or that days. They don't understand it. And then they want to talk about Samba. We've mentioned Samba. They don't understand it. As Jed said, you compare Samba to Samba. You do not compare other things. But so if you take just Samba to Samba, this past week, this is the Agatha premiere week. Nowhere to be seen. Oh, Rings of Power, bottom.
And I don't even recognize half the shit above Rings of Power.
Yeah, neither one. I don't know. This is, and a lot. None of this stuff. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of it is not legitimate because it's just people watching random shit on their TVs. But the stuff that should be breaking the numbers, breaking the charts, there's Rings of Power. There's your. This is what this was episode 6, according to Samba. Bottom 5 on Samba, which means it's likely to not appear on Nielsen's. I mean, that's one way you can kind of compare each one. If it barely makes it onto Samba, that means people are barely watching it on their smart TVs or their sticks or whatever they plug into it. That means they're probably not watching it overall.
Is there a show called Uglies?
There is.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's a I believe I know this one. It's a alternate reality where everybody's forced to get plastic surgery. And if you don't, you're an outcast. And there's the Uglies are people who don't want to get plastic surgery. So that's why, and they're called Uglies.
This is a documentary about Hollywood?
Yeah. Starring Ariana Grande. God, they made that girl look terrible.
Have you seen what she looks like in the Wicked trailers?
She's an alien. She's an alien now. And people are now bringing up back when she was, looked normal. She was a cute girl back then. And now she's a mutant who looks constantly surprised. And that movie's 2 hours, 40 minutes, dude. And it's
Good Lord.
Part
Oh my
one.
God. Who's got that kind of time?
That's coming out in November. That's one of those things that everybody keeps
ready
forgetting.
to find out why the Wicked Witch is evil because of men?
Because she's gay.
And
God. Wait. No, I thought I saw a trailer on that. Like the green Wicked Witch, right?
Yeah.
And she's a black lady.
Yeah, the black lady in green. Black lady in green face.
Yeah, black lady in green face, and the Wicked Witch is wicked because the white devil or something or something.
Whiteness. Just blame the Whitey. Blame Whitey.
Christ, man.
Blame Whitey.
Can't people just be bad, bruh?
Dorothy had internal misogyny, internalized misogyny, so she sided with the white man over the diverse witch.
Yeah. So you look at this just in general. Let's wrap this up because this whole thing is stupid because we go back in time to close it out to even compare season 1 and season 2 of Rings of Power. It's pathetic because right here it shows us they had more minutes viewed for season 1 with a double episode premiere than 3 episodes for season 2.
That's just embarrassing.
That's literally, if you compare the first episode of season 1, you say 600 million minutes viewed to the first episode of season 2, 300 million viewed. That's a 50% drop. And that's a 50% drop of the remaining 30% that probably stuck around from season 1. Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how pathetic it is. And this is how you have to read this stuff. You have to understand the breakdowns, but stans only want to believe what the shills tell them. They only want to believe what the companies say. This is how you should perceive the information. Believe that we're going to tell you that millions of views happened, but we don't give you data. And then, because within all this right now, there is also a thing where it was revealed, and we talked about this last week, Agatha is a single season show. They already said. They said when during the premiere days, oh, we're only one season. We don't have a second season. I've seen arguments going out there now saying, how can you say it was not going to get a second season? It doesn't matter. It was a limited series. Motherfucker. If you had a successful show internally, they would have run with it already.
Yep.
They would have known that. This show this show sat around for 2 years on a shelf. You can't run that out there and say, oh, it was never meant to be. No, everything is meant to be more than one season until it isn't.
Agreed.
So you have to understand.
Exact same thing with the Acolyte before it came out. It's like, yeah, maybe I have a couple ideas of maybe where I'd want to take it, but it's just supposed to be one season. I made this to be one season. And then it ended on a cliffhanger, and it's like, where's season 2?
And then remember, she said, if you want the season 2, start talking on social media, guys. Oh, speaking of that, we do have to do our weekly check-in on the petition.
Oh, what was it last week?
80, just a little over 80,000.
So what? 83 maybe. I'm being very generous.
Oh, you are being very generous. I've been watching this all week. I even got blocked by somebody when I showed them the actual number and I included how many people signed. At the moment, 81.
Oh my!
They are now under 100 people signing every day, and it's been that way for a few days now. It did exactly ran out of steam, just as we said it would. But somebody said it's trending, and somebody said still trending, and I said still canceled. And they blocked me within an hour. But this is the thing: they cling to the fantasy that these things are successful because the corporations rely on their retardation. That they don't understand how numbers work. They don't understand how making money works. They don't understand. Do you know what the current phrase for the Acolyte supporters is right now?
I don't really.
I don't care what the budget was.
Because money doesn't matter to them. They want money abolished anyway. So why would they care? Something was expensive and didn't make its money back.
$30 million budget. I don't care what the budget was. Just save the show. Give me season 2. And they still threaten violence.
Mm-hmm. No, of course. And these are the same people who said it when it was initially canceled. It doesn't matter how high it was back then. Just you got to give these shows chances. Invest more money into them. Shows don't get good till season 3 anyway. So just invest another.
Jed, you say that. What show are you watching right now that's in season 1?
I'm watching the original Stargate TV show, SG-1, and I am loving it. I'm shocked by how much I'm enjoying it. Season 1, I think I'm almost halfway through, maybe a little bit past halfway. And yeah, absolutely loving it. And Adam's just saying it gets better from here. I'm shocked.
Gets better.
Every time I've heard about this show, I just thought, oh, it sounds like a kind of simple, dumb concept. It's probably going to be really cheesy, not taking itself seriously, not be like deep, thought-provoking sci-fi like Star Trek is, which I absolutely adore. But no, it tries to do these complicated sci-fi things. It makes you think about things, ask questions, does really good character work, and I'm absolutely blown away by SG-1.
Jed, did I ever press you to watch SG-1? Did I ever press you once to do it?
No, you just mentioned a few times over the years that you really liked it, and you used to do streams on it. That's all you'd ever done. I think you recommended it to me when I asked, but that's because I asked.
Yeah, and now I myself, I know Samuel will be happy to be. Well, I'm happy to be your Sherpa. I am happy to get you through this, and we're doing streams. We are once in a while we're gonna do checking in with Jed on Stargate, and Samuel's gonna come on. We're just gonna talk Stargate, see where you are, and see how you feel about it. And it's gonna be fun. And there's gonna be a certain thing because at a certain point when you get to season 7, you're gonna have to stop, and then you're gonna have to integrate Atlantis into your watching.
Is that the next one? I was going to ask you when I got a little farther how to,
because when you get to season 7, at the end of season 7 and in season 8, they're parallel to each other. So you have to do a fancy watch pattern like we did back in the day when you got what. This is how great Once Upon a Time it was on a Friday night on Sci-Fi Channel. SG-1, Atlantis, and then and pick a good sci-fi show that was on Sci-Fi Channel during that period of time. For a while, you had Sanctuary, or you had Warehouse 13. You had good stuff, man. Friday night was fun. It was fun. So yeah, so at a certain point you get to integrate, and it's so good. It's so good. But that's the thing. Good shows. You don't need to say give it time to bake. And that's the thing. SG-1 season 1, it's the roughest season because they're still kind of figuring it out in terms of how they want to pace it. But they already cracked the magic number of, okay, here's our overarching story, but here's a nice little encapsulated episode that's not going to go farther.
Yeah, the standalone stories are great. And mentioning the concepts, I absolutely love they brought up this idea of alien races. They all have their own languages and whatnot. So how are they going to have letters and stuff like that in alphabets to make a universal language? Because not everyone's going to be able to pronounce everything. That's just a really interesting question. And then using the atomic structure of atoms to use those as letters, I just think is brilliant.
You are gonna go, God damn it, though. Eventually, though, they stopped doing everybody speaking a different language because they couldn't keep doing that.
They already did that in season 1. Like the movie was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be such a big part. Daniel's the linguist, he's gonna be so important. And then in season 1, they're just like, oh yeah, everywhere we go, the Mongols, they speak English. Oh, the Greeks, they speak English.
Eventually turns into what civilization is this based off of, is what it turns into instead of language, which is still great because you're gonna get I know you love mythology. They do their own Goa'uld twist on mythology all the time, and it's fantastic. It's
there's a lot of those. The only thing that I don't love about the show is the Goa'uld themselves. Like their voices, I don't like. The eyes I find cheesy.
Oh, I love the Goa'uld, man. I love the Goa'uld.
Whenever they're not around is when I'm loving the show.
It's so good though. The Goa'uld, it gets so much better when you get you're going to get a bigger cast of Goa'ulds, and it's going to be fantastic. And here's the thing. Jack's favorite thing, talk about, they're basically supervillains, and that's the gag they lean into. These are supervillains. They're going to monologue at you because they think they are real supervillains. And they don't get it, but everybody else does, and it's fantastic. But the Goa'uld get better in terms of the variety of the Goa'uld you're gonna get.
I just the last episode I watched was Hathor's the Queen Ghoul, so that was a little bit of variety, and I did enjoy that one. That's the most recent episode.
They're gonna first you're gonna get mostly a expansion of the Egyptian pantheon, but you're gonna get other gods from other pantheons.
They've already mentioned some, like Thor. Yeah. Not being a Goa'uld, of course.
Thor's not a Goa'uld, that's different.
But just the other gods.
So you've done Thor's hammer. You did Thor's hammer episode, yeah.
Oh, and I love how
you saw
Daniel
Unos already too. We saw
Unos. I love how Daniel didn't have to really say much when he was gonna, destroy Thor's hammer, but you knew why that was such a big deal for him, and it was just all on his face. It was a great performance because
Michael Shanks is fantastic.
They trusted the audience to figure out why he would be conflicted on doing this.
I think you're going to appreciate Michael Shanks going forward because Michael Shanks, they really give him so much to, because he's going to be a lot of voices. There's a later season episode, without spoilers, where I'm just going to say he gets an entire civilization downloaded into his head, and he's just going to chew scenery, being all the different characters. It's so good. You have got a fantastic ride ahead of you. 10 seasons worth of SG-1, 2 movies, and 5 seasons of Atlantis, and then I'm not going to tell you to watch the last one, Universe, but Samuel will. So,
where does the second movie come in? I only knew about the Kurt Russell one.
Oh no! These are the SG-1 movies. So, all right, here's the watch order essentially. Seasons 1 through 7, SG-1. As you start season 8, you then integrate Atlantis. And then you got seasons 9 of 10 of SG-1. And after the end of SG-1 season 10, you watch the movie Arc of Truth. And then you pick up with Atlantis. And then after Atlantis season 4, you watch Continuum. And then you finish Atlantis. So it's a watch. So they made I got them right here. They made, back in the day, they had a whole plan before the 2008 crash. Thanks, Obama. Before they did that, and they ruined the economy. Well, no, that's the thing.
Obama ruined Stargate.
Obama killed Stargate. Obamonomics killed Stargate. They had one more movie planned to bring all the cast together, and Obamonomics ruined Stargate. That's the thing, because they killed the straight to DVD market, and these things
the
were
first
straight
time
to
I've ever
DVD.
heard that in my life.
True.
I think a lot of other people would blame on like the strikes or something that were happening at the same time.
It's true.
To Obama.
It's true.
Like, Obama, you bastard! You took it from us.
He did. He killed the DVD market. He killed the DVD market, and we only got these. I'm hiding this one because if I show the cover of the other one, it'll ruin something for Jed. So we only got this movie. We're supposed to get one more movie, which is supposed to bring all the cast together, but they didn't. And but it's still fun. I could still watch it all the way through, and I'm always satisfied whenever I get to the end of Atlantis. So you've got a wild ride ahead of you. I am so excited to be there to talk about it, because I will take any excuse possible to talk about SG1. We just spent 15 minutes talking about it as an example of people going back to good stuff that doesn't need to simmer and collect itself and get good. It was good from the start, even if it's in its roughest moment. When, I mean, you got to admit, the Nox practical effects makeup looks ridiculous.
Yeah, there are plenty of shows like that where you still have to find your footing. People say that about The Next Generation. I don't necessarily agree. I love Encounter it at Farpoint, but some people do say it takes a few years. Doctor Who, there is a little bit of stuff with New Who. The cheesiness was on a next level in season 1, but they all got their characters right. And I think that's the thing, is their characters were good enough in all these shows. I mean, that you could invest in them and get through the cheesy practical effects, the lower budget, the tonal inconsistency as they figured out what their tone style was. The Acolyte and shows like this don't have that. None of these characters are relatable. They're not understandable. They're not consistent, and they're evil half the time. The heroes of these stories do far more worse things than the villains. Like in Rings of Power, for example, Sauron, as revealed in season 2, has done nothing wrong since the War of Wrath and the fall of Morgoth, except for eat one lady. He's been asleep for most of the time. Everything attributed to him isn't his fault. Adar's been doing all the evil stuff, and people love him, apparently. All the villains are the people doing the least evil things.
You talk about cast. SG1 worked because first they went out and got one of the best anchors they could get to anchor the show. Richard Dean Anderson as Jack O'Neill. 2 L's. Jack O'Neill.
I haven't seen him in anything, but
he's the original MacGyver, is the thing. He did 7 seasons of television as MacGyver. That dude knows how to do television. So they went and got RDA.
Well, we're talking about him. I think that's a great example of how you can come in on someone else's role and make it your own, because he's nothing like Kurt Russell.
No.
Like, if I didn't know that they were the same character, there's no way I would have been able to figure that out on my own.
Kurt Russell's has 1 L, and that's what the running gag is. O'Neill, 2 L's. That's a running gag that's going to be for the show. Yeah, but they're the same character, because you got to understand, from the first week of this one, Ra was just an alien who possessed a body. There was no worms. There were no ghouls. We're not parasites.
The lore in the first movie was very thin.
They added to it and they made more on it, but they made it work, and they expand the lore going forward.
Well, even just character wise, like I love the episode where the crystal aliens replicate Jack O'Neill, and it's all about his son.
That's
delve into the loss of his son.
So emotional. There are episodes you can skip in season 1 if you're a veteran watcher, but that's not one of them, because that's a definitive Jack episode, because it gives you a look into his psyche and his private life and how his marriage fell apart and all that kind of stuff. And it's so important, and it's so integral to the fact that you need to relate to these characters. And because the whole thing about Jack losing his son, it never goes away. It comes back.
It's kind of traumatic.
It comes back in certain story arcs and lines. What is hailed as it's a season 4 episode, so you're not even near there yet. It's basically what everybody calls the Groundhog Day episode, which is always considered like one of the best episodes of all time. And you'll see why. It's fantastic. It's both fun and humorous, but at the very end is poignant. and you'll understand why when you get there. So there is so much good stuff. I mean, you have Richard Anderson, Jack O'Neill, Michael Shanks, who is he's a great actor, and he makes Daniel Jackson his own. Now listen, let the thirst begin for Amanda Tapping as Samantha Carter. Let that thirst begin. It only gets better.
I knew her from Supernatural. I was shocked to see how great she looked back in the day.
Oh yeah. You're gonna see peak Amanda Tapping. She only gets hotter as the series goes on. And then of course you have Christopher Judge as Teal'c. Teal'c, one of the best characters ever, because you're gonna watch now the evolution of Teal'c and how in season 1 Christopher Judge will control his facial expressions and give you nothing, yet even the slightest change is all you need. And then watch as you go forward, because I know you're going to see this. Watch Teal'c's evolution in terms of emotion and character interaction and how he looks at the world, how he feels. He is so great.
Well, his son episode that I just watched was
the first one. Yeah. Now
his
Ryak's a little
frown.
shit. Ryak's a little shit. Ryak is a little shit. And that actor
deserves to be left behind.
That kid's gonna maintain Ryak. They're not gonna recast him. He's gonna grow throughout the entire series. But Ryak is a little shit. Fuck Ryak.
But I love Teal'c's perpetual frown. That frown is intense.
And it's gonna eventually go away. That's the thing. It goes away. And it's great. So Chris Judge is fantastic. And you're going to really like the episodes, which starts actually in season 6 when they start letting the actors direct stuff. Christopher Judge's direction, he's a really good director on some of those. And you're also going to see this is when Amanda Tapping started directing. Because that's the thing. SG1 allowed their cast to direct episodes, and that's what we learned. Wow, Amanda Tapping could direct an episode.
Wait. I thought the first female director was Elizabeth Banks for the remake of Charlie's Angels.
I know,
was the first female director ever.
Forget the fact that every time, even shows that ended up being crap, every time I saw that Amanda Tapping directed an episode, it was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be good. I mean, you saw it in Supernatural. It's like, oh, Amanda Tapping directed episode. Okay, I'm paying attention because she knows how to work it. She knows how to do television.
She definitely directs better than she acts in Supernatural. Naomi is
Supernatural, she mailed that shit in. She mailed that shit in. She
really did.
That was the point in time where she was basically transitioning to behind the camera because she had 2 kids at that point. She didn't want to do the acting stuff. She just wanted to do directing. Because there'll be a point in SG1 where you're going to see, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. She's not there for a while. In later seasons. But it's so good. We're gonna be talking SG1 now, off and on. I can't wait. We're gonna set up a stream at some point. I want you to get at least past season 1 before we let you get in there some more. But it's so much fun, and I didn't expect to talk about this because we had a nerd out moment here. I feel happy. It made me feel good. We need a little positivity.
I think this is evidence that we're real nerds.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about how much gay sex we want from SG1 or how we want Daniel and Jack to get together.
No, we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about. Well, we are going to get to the point. We're going to talk about Sam and Jack. We are going to talk about that. The only ship that mattered in SG1, Sam and Jack. It's there. I'm going to love to see if how you feel about as they trickle that in there and when it becomes apparent. So. Anyway, all right. So let's move on. We have to talk. We have one more topic to cover. I didn't expect a 20-minute tangent into Stargate, but I did love every second of it. Nerds. Shut up, nerds. All right. So PlayStation State of Play happened this week. Kind of out of nowhere. I didn't know it was going to happen until it did, but it happened. And let's just say I normally don't care about these things. I really don't, because more often than not, I do not get any sort of announcements that I care about.
Yeah. Well, what announcements were there? I only know one important one.
There are several.
Other one.
There is, and when we get to it, I'm gonna fanboy out. There is one literal buried gem in there, and if you know, you know. Some of the chat knows because they already saw me squee about it this week. But let's go down the list, and we'll stop on each one. And when appropriate, we will, of course, then talk about the fallout because there has been fallout coming down. So this is the IGN. It's the best one I found, which is just a direct list, and we can go into the specific articles. Want to? All right. We're starting right off.
Starting strong.
Okay, Ghost of Yote, the sequel, essentially, to Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't think you can call it a sequel because it takes place 400 years. 300 years.
300.
Yeah, and it's so far divergent that they can't have anything in common besides
all right,
graphics.
So you make the instant breakpoint that a lot of people are honestly wrangling over. Sequel, not sequel. Spin-off, not spin-off. Franchise or not. Let's talk about the game itself first, and then we'll go into the next part of that, okay? I played it. Jed, I know you played it.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely adored Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
It's incredible, especially the ending. I don't know if I wanted the story.
Kill ending.
Oh, yeah. That's the only one.
If you did it the other way, you did it wrong.
You did it very wrong.
Yeah.
But that's an ending that I don't necessarily want a continuation of. Just the way that his story concluded in this beautiful way, if you did the choices correctly, that's the perfect way to let things go. The consequences of doing the brutal necessary thing was the whole point of the game. And if we continue past then, they'll undo all the consequences. And that was the whole point.
Jin's story is over. Jin's story is both game-wise and historically. His story is over. That story ended historically and even fictionally for the character. So, like you, I love the game. I finally finished it this last summer because I took about, I think, 6-7 months off because I got sick and other things got in the way. And also I was transitioning how I was streaming games. Shut up, God! You just wait for me to say that, don't you? Just wait for it. I'm being normal here. I was switching how I do my gaming streams, and I got involved in other games, and I couldn't finish it, so I finished it in private. Fantastic game. I platinumed it. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Dre, did you play it?
No, I didn't. I never played the first one.
Okay.
I've heard great things, other great stuff, but it just never those type of adventure games I'm rarely into.
Okay,
it's like one of those ones I like to watch people play than me play.
I can understand that. Yeah.
So
if it's not your
for
thing.
you, that's fine.
But it's like watching a movie. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and it was a great play. I enjoyed every minute of it, and like Jed said, this outstanding gameplay.
The outstanding was next level.
And the problem is, if you didn't play it for a while, you had to get back into the rhythm. For even towards the end, I still didn't quite have my rhythm that I had when I first started playing, because there could be points where you can parry and not get touched if you're that badass. Or I think the biggest problem I had was I forgot how to smoothly switch to stances. It's like, God, what am I doing? I'm dead. But the story of Jin, as Jed said, is great. A man wedded to his culture, wedded to his societal place, believing fully in the way of the samurai, the honor code, all this stuff, but then being forced to break his own belief system in order to win a war that was otherwise unwinnable because rigidity was the weapon being used against them. Their own inability to be, the samurai's own inability to be flexible in how they waged warfare works against each other, doesn't work against a foreign power who is going to basically do the most despicable things to win. You have to do it. So Jin's, I don't want to say descent, but his transformation into a monster in order to kill a worse monster was beautiful.
That's where Ghost came from. I don't know how they're going to justify using Ghost again.
Yeah,
because that was the whole point.
Well, I think part of the thing is people are saying it's resurrect the idea of a ghost in order to deal with the situation. That's kind of a thing. But that's what you're bringing that up.
But it's not as divergent because she's already a Ronin, as we see with her straw hat. So she's not breaking from the culture like he was.
Or even that. There's a certain way I need to say this because I have conversations from 3 days ago in my mind, and I'm trying to organize my thoughts on where I say the points I want to say is the problem. But you're right. The stories diverge in the sense that a ghost was Jin's thing. Why is a ghost here? Because his story ended. And a lot of people want to say, I want more Jin. Fine, you want more Jin, but I don't think you would have been happy with more Jin because they would have had to then literally create something out of nothing to go forward with that. You might not have liked that. Therefore, I am okay with a massive times jump to a different era, an era where rifles are now going to be something
that is
be
an
part of this.
interesting addition to the game.
You have to realize there's going to be rifles now. But point is this: after all the praise I've leveled on this game, I'm fine with Ghost 1 being the only Ghost game I've ever played.
Yeah,
I didn't need another game.
All the entertainment industries need to know that sometimes you need to let things lie. One and done is still very viable, even though they never decide to do it.
I never want another one. I don't need another one. And I don't even need or desire Ghost of Yotei because I am sure as hell not buying this at launch. I didn't buy Ghost at launch, Ghost 1 at launch. I bought Director's Cut when eventually.
I didn't do Director's Cut. I need to play the DLC still.
I still haven't done the DLC either because I was burned out at that point. I couldn't keep going.
It's a massive game, so I can see why.
Yeah,
I don't even have the Director's Cut. I've just got the normal version on PS4.
So to Jed's point now, they've done the time skip. What he said, calling it a ghost. Why we don't know because here's the point. All this trailer did was show us this character's name and kind of the situation she may be in. But there's no other story details. So I am in the camp of simply saying, I'm going to be fine until I get a story trailer, until people who are going to play this at launch tell me how it is. I'm not going to lose it, but there is a very legitimately concerned section of the gaming population who, as soon as they see her lift her Ronin Gasa and you see it's a chick, oh God, they whammons it up. Lord Jesus, here comes the whammons to tell us and girl boss our way through the time. They even have her dual wielding at one point, which I went, really? You're gonna have her dual wield? Really? And that was the only time I raised my eyebrow because, like, come on, don't make her dual wield. That's not fair. But legitimately, because we do live in the era. It's 2024. We see something like this, you're instantly gonna think, oh shit, they're girl bossing this shit.
Yeah.
And not only that, I think a lot of sequels to games that have started out really, really well have not been great. I mean, look at Last of Us and Horizon. Couple of examples from what I've heard.
We're gonna get to Horizon on this one.
Yeah.
All right. So I can understand people's concerns. I don't see anything.
It's legitimate.
Wrong.
Yeah, legitimate.
And I don't see anything wrong so far with the trailer. It's not as though.
It's a nothing trailer, frankly. It's a nothing trailer. It shows off the graphics. It's the same graphics engine. It's the same type of style.
It doesn't look necessarily better.
Like it looks the same. It's the same cinematic style.
Which is beautiful.
And it's probably going to be the same gameplay. So it's going to be, it has at least one part of a Spider-Man 2 situation. You've got a fantastic game engine and gameplay thing going on. That's probably going to be 10 out of 10. But now tell me what the story is going to be like.
Yeah. So with all this, I actually haven't spoken about this game publicly yet. And I'm right there with both of you where there's absolutely legitimate concern when you see something like this in the modern era. And there are also people who are way overreacting to it. I think legitimate concern, but this trailer is a nothing burger. We don't have enough to form opinions one way or the other. So I have concerns about this game existing at all and the way that they're portraying it. But I'm not going to say that it's woke yet. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy it yet. There's just not enough information for me to make an informed decision one way or another. So always be skeptical. That is kind of my rule in life. It's absolutely good policy to be skeptical, especially these days. So legitimate concern, absolutely. But don't overreact and black pill on this game just because there's this female protagonist, because as people point out, Ghost of Tsushima had some great female protagonists with Yana and the samurai who teaches you
the widow of the Lord who helps you out with your stuff. But F Yuna, I'm not saying she's a bad representation of
she takes advantage of
but
Jin
I
much.
hate that character. I hated her so much, and I was just so glad they didn't make them a couple. I was so glad. That would have been so hard to stomach.
But
Oh, go ahead, Jed. I'm sorry. Go for it.
I will just say that a lot of these people who are a little worried about her being the protagonist are gonna love the hot springs mini games or whatever.
I don't know. I'm not into the chick who we're gonna talk about her in a second. She ain't doing it for me, honestly. She ain't doing it for me.
That's fair, but at least you're seeing female ass instead of man ass.
Who knows? Yeah, I listen. While I did do the recordings for this game, every time it was a hot springs time, I said, "Oh, moment of man ass." That's what I said every time. Oh, moment of man ass. Because Dre, you understand. Every time, one of the things you'd find hot springs where you would sit there and you would basically meditate on what's going on, but he'd be stepping in the hot spring and you just get a big shot of digital man ass as he steps into the hot spring.
Of course. And to your sentiments of both you, which you and Dragonly, what you all were saying as far as like lady protagonists and stuff like that, and like if we were on the clock 20 years, we wouldn't care.
No,
so like we wouldn't give two squirts of piss. But the idea of we've been beat across the head for the last 8 consecutive years with whamming this and whamming that. So when even if you make a legitimate game, which I'm going to assume this is, with just a legitimately strong female protagonist as far as the traditional sense of a character that's actually well put together, people are just going to be outraged because of how many times we've been beat across the head with the whole whamming joint, which also isn't fair either, because if this is a legitimate character and somebody put forth a lot of effort and whatever, then it shouldn't get that. But the media has created this firestorm for itself, for it to always come out this way every time a female character comes.
And there are 2 or 3 situations now that instantly are going to taint this announcement. One, it was mentioned earlier in chat, there's a lot of anger towards Sony.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't see Sucker Punch, who, as we talked about before, they have engendered a lot of goodwill with the first game.
Yes.
There's a lot of goodwill with Sucker Punch. But some people, and our good friend Shaka Zulu from Ballbusters, one of my co-panelists on Ballbusters, all he sees is Sony. He doesn't see Sucker Punch. He just sees Sony in this. And he loves the first game, like Jed and I do. He loves it. But all he sees is Sony being a dick and wanting to make a giant franchise with movies and books and comics and shows and spreading it thin. That's all he sees. So he is instantly annoyed at this. Now, he wants it to be a good game. He wants to be wrong. He wants it to be legitimately fun and good and have the same immersion that the first game did. But he is automatically put off because right now, like many others, he sees Sony as just this bad will, ill-intentioned company that's out to ruin our day. So you have that working against it. And therefore, that overrides, for some people, the goodwill that Sucker Punch has. But then you have the other problem. This chick right here, the voice actress and model actress.
Yeah.
She is a massive SJW. Massive. So much so that literally as the game is getting announced, a state of play, she started blocking people on X Twitter who are highly critical of video game industry politics right now. Out of the blue. Now, I sent one little comment when she was doing so. One of her things came up and I just said, "Why do you hate gamers?" I tried for the block and I didn't get it. That's all. I just wanted to see if I could get the block for being as innocuous as I could. But
I just want to point out, did the Jin Saka actor ever do anything like this?
He is also apparently a moron when it comes to this stuff, but he didn't attack the fans. He just says stupid agenda.
Yeah, just on its own stuff. But yeah,
but he never blocked fans. He never blocked fans.
Because she came out of the gate. That's making things so much worse.
Came out hot, firing, started blocking, and then starts.
This is almost indicating everyone's concerns of wokeness in the game. If she's already coming out like this, that does feel like vindication, and I understand that.
And that's the problem. It instantly paints this in a situation of, the actress is behaving badly towards fans. Are you telling me they allowed this to happen while making the game? No, allowed her. This didn't leak into the game, and that's a thing. Did it leak into the game? Didn't. We don't know. The thing is, we don't know yet. That's the problem. We do not know yet. But the thing is, she comes out and continues to do stuff like this in the days after. Say hi, Magical, we're back, reunion, all these sweeties and unparalleled joy talking about gay shit. agenda-driven shit and what she's doing. She's pushing this stuff. So she is the face of the game, and immediately people want to, and I'm not saying people should. I am not encouraging violence, but people want to Minecraft that face right now because they see this. They see things where she's talking about promoting Black LGBT transing and saying we need to have money to pay for everybody's stuff. Black trans lives matter.
Have you seen her bio?
Yeah, it's right here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. All pronouns, gender fluid or gender wave. Yeah. Yeah. So this is who comes out right away. The marketing is now instantly effed. It's instantly effed. This is why people react like this. This is why everybody who says, oh, female protagonist, I don't want this. Saying F this game, I'm not already saying F this game, I'm not going to buy this game because something like this happens. And from their perspective, it reaffirms their belief that there can be nothing good in this game. That it's just going to be a gender that that Sony has done what Sony does and hijacked it for some stupid shit. So that's the problem. There are two sides to this. There's the game and there's the outside stuff. Right now, they are mutually exclusive. We do not know if this will bleed into this at this point. We do not know. And that is where I stand on this. I need a story trailer. I need a good 3 to 4 minute story trailer, which we know Sucker Punch will give us. They'll give us a story trailer.
It could be very bad. It could absolutely be terrible. Like she wanted to be a samurai, but they wouldn't let her because she's a woman, so she became a Ronin.
And we don't know what's going on because right now, some people are trying to say, oh, they're breaking the samurai this. Technically, she's a samurai, but she's a Ronin, which means she's not affiliated with a house. She's not replying, and the people hunting her are Ronin. It's not as though the shogun of the time or the emperor at the time, because I think we're past the shogunate at this point. No one has issued no house is hunting her. It's a general bounty. You know, it's so we don't know what's going on in this game. We have an inkling that she's an outcast. She's on the run, and all the Ronin are trying to basically get the bounty on her head. That's all we know. And she has a thing with a wolf. God, I hope the
which
wolf
is weird. That wolf thing was a little weird.
Don't have a pet class. Don't have her summon the wolf to help her. The Ghost of Tsushima worked because there was an inkling of some spiritual stuff, like your father is the wind that guides you. All that was it, but it was very light. But it remained grounded. Let's not dip too far into possibly fantasy realm stuff. Let's not do that. She doesn't need a wolf companion. Let's not do that. All right. So I am wait and see. But like Jed said, like Dre said, if you are angry, your anger is legitimate. I acknowledge it. I am not going to tell you not to be angry.
We validate your feelings.
Yeah, I am simply going to say I am now I will repeat. Two things are mutually exclusive. When we get a story trailer, if it leaks in there, then then we will talk. But it's brought a lot of passion, and even and problem is, gamers fighting gamers. The stands have taken advantage of this, and they've tried to put out, oh look, you're angry about this, you weren't angry about that. Why aren't you? It's just fake gamers they're gaslighting. That's a problem. While actual real gamers are having a passionate debate about this stuff, the fake gamers in the stands, they're gaslighting shit and they're making it worse. That's part of the problem. We left our flank open and they struck on that one. So let's move on. Okay, we mentioned it. Now, what we're going to see in this state of play release is a lot of remaster announcements. This game just came out. It's only 5 years old. 6 years old, maybe.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a 2018, I believe.
Yeah, I played it in 2017. I played it in 2017.
Really?
On PS4. Yeah, on PS4. But it's not that old.
It is way too soon to remake. There are plenty of PlayStation classics that should be remade. Like I would love a great God of War Greek trilogy remade bundle. The third remaster is okay, but I think the trilogy really needs it. There are plenty of great stories that they could go back to, great games that don't age well because of outdated graphics and outdated gameplay. But Horizon Zero Dawn, they're just putting it's a remaster. It's a I don't even think
Code of Paint. It's Code of Paint.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
They,
definitely.
they did a couple things to her face to make it softer, yet still line up with Mumps in the sequel.
Mumps McGee.
And even the stands are yelling at that. Oh my God, why did you change her? She was beautiful. No, Aloy was never beautiful. The actual actress is hot.
Absolutely.
But Aloy was never hot. I struggled in the first game thinking, is she hot? Is she supposed to be hot? Because I could kind of see where she might be hot and then realize, oh, that's what the voice actors look like. Okay, yeah, so she is actually hot, and they didn't keep her hot.
It's just an excuse to squeeze a little bit more money out of this.
Yeah.
I think this remaster should be done exactly like the Witcher Next Gen update was, where it's just a free update. It got a lot of people back into the game, and they added a little bit of extra content in, and The Witcher 3 exploded on the charts. It did very well. They made money from it as a free release. This is not enough to warrant state of play announcements or an extra price tag or anything like this. It feels cheap.
And they're adding money to it. They're increasing. It says it right here. They're adding more money to it. This is ridiculous. So this is why we ask, why are you doing this? And this is why people get mad at Sony. And now, listen, if we take our emotion out of it, Sony just lost hundreds of millions of dollars. So they're trying to squeeze every little bit of money they can out of everything they're doing to recoup for Concord. So that's what. So I don't get that.
And the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, that too. All right, Monster Hunter Wilds. Now the Monster Hunter fan base is rabid. This game looks like it's fun for that thing, and even right there, she looks cute.
She looks cute, but she also looks like she stinks.
Have
you watch the footage?
Have you played a Monster Hunter game?
No.
Oh,
I don't know anything about them.
Oh, everybody stinks.
Really?
They stink.
You go through. Yeah, you're in the rough. You're covered in gore. You're covered in nasty when you're fighting these things. Yeah, you stink. Nobody bathes in Monster Hunter.
She looks like she has armpit hair longer than mine.
Oh God,
Chad, you are the worst.
Listen, okay, but yeah. So
You're welcome.
this is, and you know what? This is releasing when Shadows is releasing.
Oh, for crying out loud!
That's not going to be good competition.
This is going to destroy Shadows because the Monster Hunter fan base, they love their games. I played only World for a while, so I can understand it. But it's fun when you play with friends. This is a game that's fun to hunt with friends. I played with a friend a little bit, but we both got bored pretty quickly because it was only two of us, and we couldn't do some of the bigger raid hunts, which we wanted to. So we got bored. But these games are fun. It's fun to collect the materials, get your weapons, choose your fighting style. Have alternate loadouts.
What's the protagonist situation look like in these games? Like, are we playing as this woman?
Custom. No, it's custom.
She's just a primary.
She's she's probably your assistant or something like that, or your gal.
I was hoping that she was the playable character, just so we could bring it into the conversation of Ghost of Yotei.
No, the thing about Monster Hunter, it's complete character customization. Okay. You make your own everything. Male, female, whatever. Yeah.
And I always play Archer in them joints. I love playing Archer in them.
Dude, when I played it, I was just, when I saw I could dual wield swords, I dove right in. I'm in there. I'm slicing up legs. I'm cutting off tails. It was glorious. These games are fun though.
Yeah,
they're cross-platform, so you can play them on everything. It's a lot of fun. So this is going to be dynamite. This is a good release announcement, because it moves the franchise forward. People are, it makes World is the previous one, because the World came out around the time Horizon Zero Dawn came out. So that's already the previous. It's a PS4. The other one they've had going on, I forget what it's called. It was PC only, and certain parts that I think of the fan base didn't get onto, who are console based. So they've moved. This is the next one, and you could tell by the graphical upgrade, the visuals. It looks great. Looks like a lot of fun. So this is great. Fantastic. I'm happy for Monster. Hell, I might even give it a try at that point. If I can get a team together, I might do it. Who knows? All right. Astrobot. I know people have been having fun with this game, so this is just a layup for Sony. Here we go. We're going to give you more of this tiny little game that everybody seems to have a good time with. I see no problem with that. Let them enjoy it.
It's for women. They're the ones who seem to enjoy it the most.
Women and Melee James. James
They're just like cute things and doing cute things.
I could give two shits about this, but people are having fun with it, and that's all I care about. They're having fun with it. So this is good. This is what you should do. Give people more of something they like. All right. A Midnight Walk. I don't know what this was. From creators of Lost and Random comes a claymation style game.
VR.
Rather Tim Burton-esque art. We don't have a release window, so this is kind of just something they threw in there. It looks like, and yeah, you said it there. PSVR 2. So this is a nothing. Nobody talked about this. Hell is Us. Another horror game. Okay, playing the horror people. So these are nothing burgers.
Yeah, this is niche games.
Excellent way to put it. These are niche games. People care.
I hope people enjoy them.
This is actually huge.
Yeah,
because in between of everything, Nintendo finally decided to sue. What do they go? One Up? What are they called? What's the company called? Shit.
I don't remember.
I forget. It's not mentioned here. They finally decided to sue Power World. They finally did it. We all thought they had an agreement behind the scenes. Apparently not. So what does Sony do to Nintendo? It says, hey, we're going to let Power World come on PS5 now.
I'll pay for the legal fees.
It dropped that day. And that's just, we're putting our dick on the table and saying, okay, fuck you. We don't give a
exactly what happened.
And I find that hilarious. Now, hell, if they had Power World be free to play online through Sony, I would maybe give it another shot if the boys wanted to do it again, because then I could actually run it. Because I couldn't run it on my computer unless I had the window this big on my screen. Now, also, we were running on Static's private server, so we had a lot of server lag issues. But if the boys wanted to do this again, I would consider firing it back up and doing it on my console, because then I could legitimately play it. I wouldn't be lagging. It would be much easier to play that way. Because Power World was fun. I mean, I spent I got it on sale for $20. I played it for over 70 hours with the guys. I got my money's worth. We had a good time.
Yeah, it looks good, and it was available for the PS4. I would definitely get it just to see what it's like. I like the gameplay mechanics. It looks a lot better than what we get in mainstream or
it's
mainline
fun.
Pokemon
I mean,
games.
You basically attack. You don't just use another pal to attack another pal you want to capture.
Yeah.
No, you shoot it with arrows and bullets, and you poke it with spears.
I like
you fight
I
it.
like what I've seen from it, and it looks so much fun. And you have PlayStation 5.
and it's a survival game. You have to eat food, you have to drink water, you have to have shelter, you got to build, you have to have a whole production line going for materials for shit. So I mean, our buddy Kel, that's when Kel and I first started playing together with games last year. I hadn't done anything with him yet, and he just went hog wild when we weren't on. He just kept building the base out, and at the time I was frustrated. Like, I wanted to do something in the base too. I wanted to build something, but Kel quietly, because we all weren't really chatting with each other yet, he just kept working on it, and he just kept building all this shit, and he kept expanding it, and it's like, damn. So we had a full-on industry going there. So it was fun. It was great. I think this is good business. This is good business. I have no problem with this. It's a fun game, and I think Nintendo's going to drop the suit pretty quickly in the end, because it isn't Pokemon. It's not Pokemon at all.
It falls into at least parody territory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I looked into the lawsuit. There is a pending patent that was put in by Pokemon, which has got to be the most pettiest patent I've ever seen in my life, which was put in 2022. So this is while Power was being developed. They put in a patent for ball throwing.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was just
ball throwing.
That is petty as shit, dude.
Yeah, you can't get the patent on that.
The ball throwing motion in order to put a monster into a ball. That is what they're literally trying to get.
There's been lots of stuff like that over the last nearly 30 years.
Exactly.
So I don't understand where they're coming from with that.
Now, in the end, this is happening in Tokyo. This is going to be in the Tokyo courts. I have no idea what Japanese law looks like.
Yeah.
So This is beyond even my small scale knowledge of how the law works. So we're just gonna see how it plays out. I think in the end it'll be settled because I think Nintendo just they'll want to save face in the end. Once honor will be dealt with, something will happen. I personally thought there'd been a secret handshake all along between these guys. I thought there had been, but obviously not. All right, so I think this is cool, and I hope it does well. I'd like to see Power keep going, and one day I'd like to play it again with the guys when it's working. And if they actually also introduce dedicated private servers that they host themselves, that would be better. Then that'd be fine. But I don't want to go on a public server with people we don't know. That's not fun. It's fun when it's us. Okay, Metro Awakening. I don't VR crap. Nobody cares. That's shit that they're required to do the shit. Okay, F this. F Arcage. I don't know if I've told this. Okay,
I've never heard of it.
All right. I want you to sit back. Lean back in the chair. Uncle Adam's going to tell you. Uncle Adam's going to tell you a story.
Oh Lord.
The year is 2014.
Oh Jesus.
Here's 2014, and I'm in my MMO golden years. Star Wars: Old Republic still going strong. I'm in my guilds. I'm playing some Final Fantasy 14. The Heaven's Word has come out. We're having a good old time. But then there's inklings of a brand new MMO from Korea. That should have been the warning sign. I didn't know yet. Because them Korean MMOs, they're great over there. They don't translate well to us. South Korea has a called Arcage. Arcage. It's gonna be a game where it's PvP warfare, but you get to own your land and you have your guild. You get to build houses, and there'll be a thriving private economy, and there'll be some story. Don't worry, there'll be a story, and we're gonna sell you early access for $135.
Good Lord.
Now, I was a sweet summer child in my youth. I thought, wow, this game looks great. A lot of people I'm hanging out with my guild, we're all kind of excited for this. We're going to buy in this. We're going to put some money in. We're going to get early access. We're going to be in the beta. We're going to buy land. We're going to build this stuff. We're going to be taking part in this economy. There'll be some cool story stuff, but then also we could get involved in this giant two-faction PvP warfare going on where you're going to control continents and part of the land, this and that, and this and that. Game launches. There's no story. You can complete it in a couple hours. The game mechanics are broken as hell because the crafting system is broken. There's no real dungeon drop. Everything is crafting, and to get the best materials, you have to own certain stuff, kill certain stuff, destroy certain stuff out in the PvP area. And guess what? One side decides to be the Zerg and overwhelm everything. There's no real competition when it comes to the PvP. There's monopolies going on over the place. One guild absorbed everybody on the other side, and the combat's broken as shit. Nothing works. People are ganking people in open territory. You can't just run your trade route with your caravan because here come people to gank you and steal your shit. Naval combat is they had naval combat. Naval combat was destroyed. So we sunk a bunch of money in this. I was going to run my guild's branch in there, and it was a goddamn disaster. And everybody freaking knew it. The company knew it, players knew it. This thing went belly up within months. They kept rebranding it, this and that. And now it's Arcage Chronicles instead of Arcage 2 because it has a lot of shit on it. So F Arcage. F it all. I hope this burns in fucking hell. Fuck you.
So what you're saying is you didn't have a good time.
No. I went back to Star Wars and Final Fantasy 15. Oh, I see. I'm angry, but now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. Because you got to understand this right here. This, you guys heard me talking, this is one of the greatest JRPGs franchises of all time. Fantastic story, fantastic characters. This is the remakes. These aren't the originals, but I got them all. They're actually in my closet. I thought they were in the front hall. No, they're all in my closet right now, but I'm not going to get up and go get them. Just believe me, they're right there. Lunar Remastered Collection. And I have now been told in recent days It is literally the original scripts from the remakes. This has not been redone. They took the working designs localization and just lifted it and dropped it right in. No changes. It's pure. They did apparently they did redo some of the voice work, but if it's the original working design script, whatever, don't care. Don't care. Don't care. They've spoofed up the animation. They've made it widescreen. One of the reasons I can't stream it for anybody is one, I have to make it communicate with the capture card. We're talking PlayStation 2 or Sega CD if we wanted to go real old school. That's going to be a little bit of work. And then it's going to look like shit because this is a late 90s, early 2000s stuff that's made for tube television, not for flat screens. I tried it. It looks like shit. It's so hard to play blown up on your screen. But now, beautiful, remastered, widescreen. They make it look all pretty. It's nice. It's wonderful. No censorship. Somebody said there's no censorship, which means you get the onsen bath scenes. Yes, the bubbles and the towels cover the goodies, but it's still there. This is glorious. This is reintroducing a fantastic franchise, both remakes in one collection. And there will apparently be limited physical media release. So I'm going to try my damn to get it. So this is an outstanding hidden gem. I never expected to get any more Lunar. I thought it was done, nothing, this and that. But no, here we go. I'm going to stream this. This is next spring. This is coming out next spring. I am so excited for this. I cannot wait to play this for myself and to share it with people who haven't seen it before. It's glorious. It's fun. It's old school. This is great. This is to me, this is the best thing come out of State of Play. This, and it doesn't fall into they're just remastering stuff. No, to Jed's point earlier, why aren't they remastering stuff that deserves it? This is something that deserves it.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like it deserves it because it's old and it's updating the graphics, like you're saying, to be playable on modern televisions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using the word remaster. I always feel better when old stuff uses the word remaster instead of remake. I always get worried. When
just a remaster. It's literally making it look pretty, making it flow nice. That's all it is. And they've added some perks, sped up battle mode for fighting, this and that, which would be nice for grinding, which those games had anyway. They did have them. At least Eternal Blue Remix had it. But these are fantastic. This is glorious. I want this to be successful. I don't necessarily want the franchise to continue. I want it to just stay as it is. Some people don't like me saying that, but I'm happy just the two games. I don't want anybody current day to touch this and try to make new because I don't know if the old guys at Game Arts or anywhere, I don't know what their story was going to be.
Yeah, you can't trust the new people.
I don't trust anything. So this is glorious. And this is probably easy. I mean, made by Gung Ho Online. This is probably took very little to remaster and remake. This is pure profit, man. If this is successful, it's going to be pure profit. And I want another success. So I think this is going to be great. I can't wait. This was awesome. And I know you guys don't have to say about it. It's just me like touching myself over this for the past 10 minutes now. So, okay. TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Radical Reptiles DLC is free and out now. So this was an immediate release. Everybody was going gonzo over this when it came out. A lot of co-op. Yeah. So this is more giving people what they want. No problem.
Wait.
This is smart. And a lot of people have fun with this. I never got around to it, but I know it was a lot of fun. Okay, here's another semi-controversy. I never played the Legacy game. I watch other people play this game. I know of it.
Mm-hmm.
Our good friend Samuel the Infamous, he really loves these games. One thing came out of this trailer, a screen cap of some statues that went from feminine to looking male or more kind of fugly feminine. And a lot of people are saying that the game is now woke and it's ruined. Can't everything else. I'm going to say stop. Please stop. A single frame. Is it stupid? Yes. But does that mean the game is broken and unplayable? I just don't appreciate when people do something like that. They created an unnecessary talking point just to be angry about something. I feel like that's just my opinion. I mean, anybody else here play the Legacy of Kain series? No,
never even heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't play the Legacy. I remember when it came out, but that was years ago. Holy crap!
That's like 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, it's like 20 years ago. Yeah, I remember when this came out. My cousin was really into it.
What'd you?
Yeah.
Oh, that does fall into a good amount of time for a remaster, not 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years.
Legitimate.
That's
20
fine.
And these are the
years is
these are the
legitimate.
sequels. This isn't even the original game. There's Legacy of Kain, and these are the Soul Reaver duology. So this is deservedly so. I think that the game is probably going to be fine. That's just my instinct, and it's just this whole thing we keep talking about. Certain sections of our sphere want to instantly jump on something just because they need to get a video out or they need to get content out, or in my opinion, sometimes they need to stay relevant to talk about something. So they latch onto it, and then of course, social media is going to be inflamed. People were already inflamed that day about Ghost of Yotei, so they were instantly inflamed about this, and it created an unnecessary talking point. So I don't know. I will probably find out through Samuel how this game works out. I'm sure he'll make himself get it. He'll grumble and bumble about it, but I think he'll probably end up getting it just to see if it works. I mean, he said he has the original games, but I have a feeling he'll break down and get it just to see, so that he can find out. But I want this to be good. I mean, it's going to come out before the year's over, so we'll find out soon. But it caused a little bit of a thing, and that was that and that. More Hitman VR. Hitman is so over. I'm sorry. I loved it back in the day, but it's over. It's not fun anymore. They live serviced it to death. They live service Hitman to death, in my opinion. Fantasia Neo Dimension. I don't even know what this is. Looks like an RPG. Tactical game creators. Oh, so it's tactical RPG. I've never even heard of this, so I guess I'll keep my eye on it.
Yeah, that sounds like something in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on it. I won't buy it. I won't buy it at launch. I'll wait for a discount, definitely. Okay. This is just good marketing. Building off Keanu being the voice of Shadow in the new Sonic movie. And everybody, the Sonic fans are hardcore.
Oh yeah.
They still love this shit. I mean, I don't care about Sonic anymore. But I think this will probably do well, especially because they're going to line this shit up right with the movie.
Oh yeah, look,
Yeah.
I already know. I'm going to go see this movie day one. This is the last movie I see this year. Period. I'll be there day one. Heck, I'll be there midnight screening. I'm gonna go see it. I think these movies are a lot of fun. I think the movies are really great. These games, however, have been bad for 20 years. Let's keep that. These games been bad for a long time. Like after Sonic Adventure 2, it all went downhill after that. I think Sonic Generations might have been a nice little bump, but outside of that, good lord, these Sonic games.
Well, we'll see.
I liked Sonic Generations, and Sonic Colors I thought was quite good as well. Especially the Starlight Zone, that colorful one was quite good.
It's good. That's well. Good song. I mean, okay, their soundtracks have always been banging.
Oh, soundtrack was good. Soundtrack
have always been banging. All these games, even if the games are trash, the soundtracks, my lord. Just if the sound was as good as the game, all these Jones would be winning game of the year, year after year. Good lord. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to see that movie though.
Why?
No one cares.
It's a great question. What has Lego been doing the last 2 years?
Honestly, I might get heat for this. I hate all these Lego games. I freaking hate them.
All of them, or just the new ones?
I'm not into Lego video games. I know they're
you can't get any better than Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. That is the best one by far. But a lot of the older ones, like the Lego Lord of the Rings, has charm. I enjoy that one.
I just don't get it.
Jones.
Lego Batman trilogy was pretty decent.
Yeah. Maybe because I don't have a connection to Lego anymore. It's not something that is part of me. So I don't know.
And I don't know if the age worked out for you, because Lego Star Wars was practically the only video game I was allowed to play growing up, and I have so much nostalgia for it. So that's the big reason I play those old games. But the new ones are trash. I will 100% agree. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, garbage. Yeah. The Force Awakens one, garbage. All the new ones are terrible. I miss when they didn't have voice acting. They just had grunts taken from the movie. Those sound effects, like a Yoda scream in the Complete Saga, is great. It's taken from the movie, from I think it was Attack of the Clones. But yeah, they just take sound bites. They just take sound bites of screams from the movie, and that's how they do the acting. It's just
that was the best.
Those are so charming.
To Ruben, next thing here, KOTOR 1, yes, a remaster would be great. KOTOR 2, if you get the Steam version, there are mods that essentially remaster it and make it look beautiful. It looks fantastic with the mods, so you can get it on Steam. And we'll wait till the next sale. But all right, but why Horizon? This franchise has no real fan base.
It's so weird how hard it's being pushed, and the Lego games that make sense are the ones that where their Lego toys sell really well. That's usually been the connection in the past. Lego Star Wars toys sell extraordinarily well. Lord of the Rings, not the Hobbit, the Harry Potter ones. Those games are good. The toys sell really good, but I don't know if they actually have a Horizon toys, and if they do, they don't sell. So
a lot of the Lego games are like based on family-friendly franchises. The last I checked, Horizon isn't family-friendly. So what kid is going to be familiar with this?
And well, here's the thing: like we just said, though, there's no fan base. I don't get these people. The Horizon 2 stands. Where are they now? Who said those are one of the greatest games ever? Yeah, that game fell off. And am I wrong saying that Lego Aloy is actually hotter than regular Aloy? Is that wrong?
At least for the second one, you'd be correct.
Yeah. So I don't
get
that.
I think the first one has an edge.
I don't know what this is. City building game, fine. I think that this is the dregs. So they're just announcing stuff. These are dregs, dreg announcements. This
an expansion for Alan Wake too.
That doesn't make any sense.
They're just trying to be relevant still after how bad that game was received.
F this. They're increasing the price on controllers. F that. That's just already $70. We're increasing control. I don't care about fucking colors. You know what? How about you make it so it doesn't have drift? How about you make it so when it gets a firmware update, you don't create drift? How about that? I'd be happy with that. All right.
But that wouldn't force you to buy new controllers and make them more money.
Shut up. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that little shit that they have to make me do. Dynasty Warrior, another Dynasty Warrior games. Dynasty Warriors guys always.
Dynasty Warriors at this point is extremely niche. I remember back in the day, look. No one worships at the altar of beat 'em ups more than I do. But good lord, this like this joint peaked at a game called 99 Nights. I don't know if anybody ever played that. I might be the only one. But this was like the peak of it was a Dynasty Warrior offshoot, and it was supposed to be like the end, and it was actually very fun and definitive, and it was really good. Then they started making Dynasty Warriors XXX1772. I'm like, bruh, stop. Just stop. It needs to go away now. I'm
Koi milked it for all it's worth.
Oh, yeah.
But I am very happy that in another month, they are releasing the remake of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8. That looks okay. That was like the best one. 8 was like the best one.
Yeah, that was a good game.
If they're in a remake, I'm gonna get it. We're gonna stream that shit. Because I was badass at those games. Talk about strategy, conquering China. And I make my own kingdom. F the other 3. I make my own. And then a bunch of support. So there it is. Like we said, the state of play was meh. It was meh. But it led to a bunch of things that had to be talked about. Okay? Had a bunch of discussions that had to be discussed, had to be revealed. And in terms of, are we at a point where something is just going to have, like with Yote, a female protagonist and just be good? Or will it still automatically mean agenda-driven shit? That's the question that is posed for us. We will see that. Are we entering a phase where they're going to remaster shit we don't want, but then at the same time we see things that do deserve remasters, do deserve fresh love, to be reintroduced to a hungry gaming audience? We'll see. And I would say some of these are wait and see in terms of what we are. And there are things I'm excited for, but as usual, it's state of play is not really for me. It really isn't. I am the games they push for these things are not usually games that I am clamoring for. So, I mean, how do you, in the end, how do you guys feel?
Yeah, this didn't move the needle for me at all. I mean, I don't have a PlayStation, so either or, but but the principle remains the same.
Yeah.
It's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. Outside of the Power World announcement, who really cares about anything else that's being dropped? Now, there's a couple of good remasters, which, that's fine, but you have to be, as old as us, Adam, to actually appreciate that. So I don't trust Sony, and I haven't trusted Sony in many years.
That's fair.
So I wouldn't put any stock in anything that they're putting in front of me, especially with their price gouging and all the other controversial issues behind their studios. Who cares? And I think that's the reason why State of Play just really swooped in out of nowhere to no fanfare whatsoever.
Let's be honest. All these things, whether it's Nintendo, what are the Nintendo Next or Nintendo, what does Nintendo call theirs? Direct. Thank you, Direct. Nintendo Direct. Whenever Microsoft doesn't even have a name for theirs, these things which have taken the place of the only event that still stands is Tokyo Game Show. That's the last one left standing. All the other ones are dead, pretty much, or they're shrunk so much we get the instant news and that's it. We now rely on these gaming companies to do these things, and they do them so often that there's really nothing to tell us. We rely more on the actual companies making these games, the actual developers, to give us the trailers and the updates. The State of Play is just, oh, here you go, and it's just this bland stream, and nobody's going to watch it because I can come in literally now 5 days later and go over the recap with an updated article.
But if I had something worth showing, wouldn't I have made something to actually get eyes? Like we're in fall now. It's gaming season for those of the uninitiated. It's gaming season. It's fall. The end of the year, the gaming awards in December. Like, this is gaming season. Why are you not putting any respect on your own name? Like, I don't understand. And then your State of Play is, like you said, Adam, it's meh at best. Meh. It's just weird to me. It's weird.
I think it's the thing that, let's be honest, there's nothing exciting anymore.
And that's bad.
Nothing exciting new. I'm more excited about a game that's 30 years old and the remake being 20 years old than anything new that was announced there.
That's correct. Because there's nothing left, and which is sad because I remember years and years ago, this used to be one of the most exciting times of the year for me, because I'm having football and I'm getting all the announcements, all the great games that are coming up, the Game Awards back in the day, the VGAs, those remember how it used to be done, like all that stuff. It used to be a very exciting time because it's about to be a build of, oh, what are we getting in the next year? Oh, who's developing this? Oh, snap, a new Sly Cooper. Oh my God, I'm old. This is the type of games that were being announced and all that other cool stuff. But now it's like, hey, remember that game that flopped 5 years ago? No. Oh, well, it's being remastered, so give us money. Hey, do you remember Alan Wake 2? I tried to forget it. Well, expansion. Like, what? Like, how are you going to get your fan base riled up? I don't get it.
And we're living in a time where all these companies, whether it's the big company who has the divisions like Sony and Microsoft, or still independent companies like Square Enix, where everybody's taken a beating because of the DEI bullshit for the past several years. So a lot of them are reorganizing. Square Enix is reorganizing. People are finally getting on board with what me and Dermy have been saying for 6 months. Cut Square Enix some slack. They're trying. They're committed to making games. Finally, everybody's realizing something like that there is a company out there of a few, Square Enix is just the most prominent one, that have realized they effed up, and we're kind of on track now. We're committed to giving you good games again with our traditional IPs. But that's going to take time. That's years. And all we have in the meantime are the failures. And that's all people see right now are the failures. So nobody's excited for anything. or they get threatened when they see something that says, "Oh, we're going to twist something you loved, possibly put a little whammon spin on it, like DEI it up a little bit because it wasn't inclusive enough." Because you need black people in Japan in 1400. I mean, that's where we are, and that is why you have the reactions to Yote. You have the reactions to whether or not I think it was a big deal or not to the Soul Reaver stuff. Why people are annoyed at Horizon being out there because why are we even bothering this shit? We don't care about it anymore. There's nothing new. There's nothing new to be excited about. I mean, people love the announcements. They're getting ready for Black Ops 6, and this is one of the things that I will always say. I think a lot of people need to remember that just because you're into Black Ops 6 and that kind of FPS stuff, you're a segment of the gaming world. But there are some people who think that FPS shooters are all gaming. And if you're not playing it, then you're not really gaming. And I've always pushed back on that. And I'm talking decades. I've pushed back on that point of view. Because I dabble in FPS once in a blue moon. Yeah. So got to remember, Black Ops 6 as the latest thing, that might do well, but FPS players are still just a whole section of a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And if you just cater to them, you're not, let's say Black Ops 6 is great and it doesn't fall apart like all those games eventually do these days. Cater to the platformers. Cater to the RPG players, cater to the strategy players, cater to the casuals, cater to the horror gamers. Remember, it's a wide thing. And problem is, all of us, we see the damage that's been done to all our games. We've talked about several of them just now. Alan Wake, all the RPGs. Square Enix is not innocent in the stuff they did as well. Everything out of Bethesda lately. I mean, Capcom, Konami, all of them. They're putting out DEI shit, and they've suffered for it. So that is why we're here now. Like Dre said, this is gaming season. We should be excited. We should be final. I mean, listen, I do have a list for my Black Friday games. I have had a list for most of the year, games I'm going to look at, things I'm going to buy now, things I'm going to buy next year. I mean, like we said earlier, normally back in the day, I wouldn't buy anything at launch, but sometimes I have to buy something at launch because I have to stream it because I need to be the person that tells you if it's good or not. I don't want to buy Veilguard out of the gate right now, but I have to. I'm locked in. I have to report on it at this point, good or bad. But there are a lot of other things. I'm going to wait till next year. I'm going to wait till Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas. I'm going to wait because if it's for private play or maybe a later stream, I can wait. But that's the thing. The gaming industry can't afford for a lot of people to wait. They need to make these games happen, make them work. And a lot of people are not into it. At least not the same way they used to be. There's instant, passionate discourse as soon as something looks fishy. And that shouldn't be the environment that we live in. It shouldn't be the atmosphere we have to breathe. We should be excited and fun and happy-go-lucky, not, oh shit, am I getting another serving of whammons? And State of Play, Nintendo Direct, whatever Microsoft does, these things, because everything, they've all fallen flat. Every time they do something this year, it falls flat. Am I wrong? Doesn't matter who it is.
Yep.
Everybody's always underwhelmed. Do you think they do them too often? Like, I mean, are they doing these too often?
They have no choice. Yeah. That's the kicker. They have no choice. Because other than that, they'll just not make any money ever. So it's like it's the only way. This the only way of making money. And you mentioned Capcom a minute ago. They just re-released the Marvel Versus series. They just re-released it. They just said, "Screw it. We need some money." So so we got Children of the Atom and Marvel's Capcom 2. The old Punisher beat 'em up. They just re-released all of it. They're like, "Hey, Daddy needs some money, and we can't spend $400 million on another piece of garbage just for somebody to kick it down the street."
Yeah.
They have to do this, and it's a sad state of affairs that this is the only thing they can do. But like you said, they brought it on themselves. You pushed all this woke DEI, cut your penis off foolishness, and now everybody's left. It's over.
We're playing old games. We're playing old games.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm playing old games. That's all I do. All I do is play old stuff. I haven't bought a new game since. Dang, what year is it? 2024, right? So the last new game I bought was Marvel Midnight Suns. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was a banger, wasn't it?
I enjoyed that game. I enjoyed that game.
Right now, I'm in my private play because I'm playing. I still love Dragon Age Inquisition, but it's become a chore because of what's coming up next. The dread is set in, and not the kind of dread wolf that I was looking forward to. No. So in my private play, I picked something off of my backlog from last year that I picked up for $20 last Christmas. Astria Ascending, a little barely heard of RPG, and it's okay. It's got old school people who worked on Final Fantasy and other games on it. It's completely 2D art style. It's kind of a side scroller type of thing. It's got pretty basic voice acting. It's okay. It's nothing grand. It's kind of just passing the time for me. But it's just I could see why it was only $20. It fell through the cracks. It's nothing spectacular. Now I've got other things on the pile I got to get through that are new and are bigger brand title, but they're still older games from years ago. The new games that are out these days, I'm only buying one out of necessity. Some of them are going to probably be good, but I'm not buying them when they came out. It's months, in fact, a year later for a couple of them. We are not, a lot of people are not day oneing this shit anymore. The only day oneers are really the FPS shooters. They day one that shit. Or Black Myth Wukong, something like that, which comes out of nowhere and has its passion. And then because of the type of game it is, fades away quickly. Are we talking? It made its money. It had its push. Are we talking about Black Myth Wukong anymore? Is anybody streaming it anymore? No,
not really.
They're going back to their old streaming standbys. This co-op here, Fortnite there, this RPG here, this RPG there, or people like me who are taking advantage of a build-up to Dragon Age or Dragon Age games. Stream this MMO here, stream that MMO there that's been going on forever. I mean, when the time comes and I finally get around to doing the 24-hour stream of this channel, part of it, I'll be playing Mass Effect. That's the only reason I haven't gone back to Mass Effect lately. It's because I'm planning it to do it. I'm planning it for the big 24-hour stream, so I don't want to be burned out on it. I want to start at the beginning. I might skip 1. I might go straight to 2.
That's the best one, though.
No, 1 is not the best one.
Absolutely,
get out of here, noob. Get out of here, noob. No one cares what you think. 1 is not the best one. Going straight to 2 because 1 is too much tedium in 1. I don't want to go to every goddamn planet and roll around to the goddamn Mako finding shit. It's a pain in the ass. I might just skip 2 because I have so many saved characters. I can reload a play and this and that, and I also kind of want to, for the first time ever, I've never actually done it because I usually do a new character all the way through. I'd like to go to 3 and reload a previous character on 3 and actually level all my weapons up to level 10 for once instead of being capped at level 5. I'd like to actually do that for once, but no. So I want to go back, but I've held off. I want to keep doing all these things, but they're older games or remake games coming out next year. There's now 3, I think, remake games I'm going to be into now. I mentioned 2 of them were today. Romance of 3 Kingdoms 8 remake, Lunar remastered, and because it got delayed a year now, Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster finally drops in March. Oh, I'm more excited for these than anything else. I mean, like I said, there are games on my wish list that are new. There's the new Legends of Mana game that came out, but the company just tanked. Company went under right as it launched. So I hope it's good, and I hope it has a good ending because that might be it. But that game, look, people like that game. It has good news around it. There's the Grand Blue relink came out last year. I'm gonna get that. There's a couple of Legend of Heroes games that have been out post Trails of Cold Steel. I'm gonna get those, but those are private play. And also, if you're buying a Legend of Heroes game, you got to remember that they literally said they're only halfway through now the entire story of the complete saga. So I kind of wait on those games. You let them pile up so you can play them one after another and get the story and don't have any breaks. So I might not even get those right away. And there's a couple of things in there, but these are all what ifs that I'm excited in a sense that it might be something new and fun. But my blood gets pumping when I think of Suikoden 1 and 2, Lunar, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 remake. That gets me excited. That I want to sit down and play it. I want to share it with people. New games aren't doing that for anybody. No. All right. We're gonna keep. I feel like we're gonna keep talking in circles on this.
Yeah.
So let's end it. We're done. We've gone overboard because we did spend 20 minutes talking about Stargate. So that's why we're over today. All right. So we are done for another week. Thank you, everybody. Jed, how are you looking this week?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. Unfortunately, I won't have any content coming out this week because I'm going to be traveling for a wedding for most of the week. So unfortunately, I will not be on the finale of This Is Mordor Country unless I tunnel in with my phone from the wedding reception, which I might want to do. I need a break from people sometimes, so I'll go to Rings of Power.
How bad is it going to be that you want to come on Mordor Country to roast Rings of Power than be it a wedding?
Well, there's going to be some drama because apparently the groom is going to be wearing a white tux, and that's going to be causing some drama apparently. While all the groomsmen and the best man, I'm one of the groomsmen, we're going to be wearing shark skin gray slacks with white shirts and then neon sparkle green suspenders and bow ties. So,
are y'all leprechaun?
Jed, you're not making me wear anything crazy, are you?
No.
Okay,
no.
good.
So
Good.
it's going to be quite the look. The wedding party is going to have a very distinct look. It's in a Catholic church. We're going to look like
Wow.
that.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
I have no idea what to expect.
Party on. All right. Okay, so we'll see you when you get back in a week.
Well, unfortunately, I won't be on drive-in either, so it'll probably be the autopsy. I mean, not drive-in, roundtable. It'll probably be the autopsy stream.
Yes. There will be an autopsy. I'll announce that in a second. All right, Dre, how you feeling this week?
Yeah, so this week should be interesting. We'll see what's going down in comics and video games this week, and on the Brew Playing Comics YouTube channel. That should be interesting. Whatever starts popping off should be fun. On Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got another Pokemon battle on my DeBrute Plays channel, and that's going to be fun. Another great match against my buddy Ant, and we push each other to the very limit. I almost threw things, so it's actually a very, very intense battle that we have.
Throw things. You'll always regret it.
Oh, yeah.
I threw one controller in college, and when I broke it, that was it. I never threw another controller again. I was like, shit, I got to spend another $50 now. Okay, not doing that again.
Yeah, I developed a spin technique with the controller, so you can just it's like helicopter to the ground.
I'll go like this. I'll hit something with my own fist, but I'm not gonna throw shit. That's when shit breaks. And, no.
That's true. So that should be great on the DeBrute Plays channel, and follow me on X Twitter at DeBrute00. And that should be it for the week. Should be pretty smooth.
Hey, Dragon Lady, anything going on?
I should be doing my usual simming, and at some point, if I remember, we'll be putting up my review for the first Blade film at some point. That's about it, really.
Okay. And real quick, I missed it before. I am well aware, Alex Vang, I ain't touching that shit. But I will say, how dare they not actually cast a blind person to play Toph? How dare they? How dare they?
That's why they wanted representation.
Yeah. All right. So as for me, I cannot promise a Dragon Age Inquisition stream tonight. We'll see how I feel. Listen, it depends on two things. One, do I fall asleep after I ate dinner? Because that's what happened last week. I fell asleep.
God, you're so old.
I don't. Well, listen, I'd only had 4 hours of sleep. Okay, I was legitimately tired.
Okay.
Right. I also only had 5 hours of sleep today because we didn't end Saturday till almost 5 o'clock this morning, and I went to bed at 6, and I woke up before noon. So I am legitimately tired. And also last week I was depressed after our Dragon Age discussion, so I kind of didn't want to do it. I just wanted to forget about it. That would play to part 2. Listen. I am not told. I can still eat anything I want, and I'm fine. Unlike I'm hearing people talking, I ate this, and I'm going, no. I can eat whatever I want. I'm fine. My body has not rebelled on me that much. All right, I'm
not yet.
Shut up. So I can't guarantee a Dragon Inquisition stream tonight. We'll find out. Just keep your eye open on Renaissance Art Arcade. Link in the description below. Keep an eye out for that. And of course, I will announce it here on the community tab on this channel, as well as I'll put it up on the X Twitters. Tomorrow is Monday, which means Mellow Monday is 10:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will nerd out, try to have a good time, forget about stuff. You never know what we're going to get up to there. Last week, we spent the entire stream talking about video game movies and TV shows they're making. It went the whole stream, so you never know what we're going to do. Rest of the week, it is the Rings of Power season finale on Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday. So expect my review some point Thursday afternoon or evening, depending on when I get started. Because this week I woke up early, I watched it, and then I went back to sleep because I was bored. It's like, I can't take this. Then at the same time, let's see more Inquisition streams going on throughout the week. So keep an eye on that. Friday, Ballbusters, 11 p.m. Eastern over on Dermy's channel. And if you haven't noticed it, the pinned comment on the top, I guess I should have mentioned it earlier. Shame on me, because right now is when it stops. I'll give it till the end of the day because I forgot to say it. Until the end of the day, you guys have one last chance to submit your fan suggestion for what movie Jed and I will watch when Saturday Night Driving returns in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we are back. It is fan selection where you guys do it. We have a few. I think we have like 8 or 10 now. I will be giving it to a third party who has agreed to take it and say he will choose the 5. And then I will put up the 5 likely tomorrow night into Tuesday, depending on when he gets back to me. A poll on my community tab here where then you guys must vote on it. And then Jed and I will watch it when we get back. So I'll give it one more. I should have said it at the beginning of the stream, but we got so off tangent right away. I forgot. But so please, your suggestions are welcome. It's your time to make us either have fun or whatever. Thing is, Jed, all the suggestions are all legitimate.
I know. I've been shocked. There's some that I'm down to watch with or without this.
Oh, there's
no one's
one
torturing us.
There's one on there that literally is one of the greatest movies for me of all time. It literally is. And I only haven't done it because I don't feel like we're ready there. The show isn't there yet. I've been saving it. But if it gets put on there and voted, then we'll have to do it now. But yeah, there's a lot. There are a lot of good movies. Some I've never heard of. Some that that may or may not be easy for us to get. We'll see how we do it. But your participation is required for this one, guys. Either way, we thank you all for those who have submitted your suggestions. We appreciate it that you are supporting us that way. And of course, Jed mentioned it, not this week, but the following week, Wednesday, there will be an autopsy stream. We are going to autopsy Rings of Power, not just season 2, but kind of the whole thing up to this point. It's going to be bad because you have to do it. We have to break it down. Why it failed. Why the stands are retarded. It's going to be glorious. Jed will be joining me for that one. And who knows? It's an open door. Who knows who else will be there? But either way. So as always, guys, thank you. We'll be right back here next week, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another round table, whatever the week may hold. I didn't know we were going to have this week. I don't know what it'll be next week, but I'm sure it will be gloriously cringe and terrible because that's the era we live in right now. It's cringe and terrible. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate each and every one of you. Without you, we do not get to do this. So hit those like buttons, subscribe to the channels, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.